newly renovated standard rooms, and this is our standard veranda, our balcony, depending on if you're on the first floor or the second floor. It comes with 2 chairs and a table. And this is our double queen room. And as you can see, we have our standard herring artwork on the walls with an accent wall and the wooden bed heads, and each bed has a reading lamp, and those reading lamps have USB type A outlets plus a standard outlet on the wall for you to plug in any electronics that you may have. The rooms also come standard with a flat screen television, as well as a desk, coffee maker / tea maker that you can use in the mornings if you'd like, and you also have coffee and tea available to you as well. And we also have a mini fridge for your convenience. Of course, we are AC room. This is the tropics, this is Jamaica, but we also have a ceiling fan for you available as well if you prefer, or you want to use both. And moving on to the bathroom area, I just wanted to point out that all of our standard room doors now are using electronic key cards, which we are very happy about, and just much more easier to use from a hotel logistics standpoint. Moving into the bathroom, this is probably one of our most proudest renovations. Moving into the shower area, we have the rainfall shower head as well as the handheld shower head. And the designer went into the details of putting the shower together with this color schemes, but also the practicality of it. And I just want to highlight some of those, and one of them being the shower drain as well as the shower heads, which you saw, which is all complementing each other. And of course, the shower amenities with the shelf for your convenience towards the back of the shower, and even where the shower faucet is, which is towards the back of the shower, which allows you to turn on the shower without getting wet. Moving on to the sink, it's also a black handle sink, which again just complements the design of the entire shower and bathroom, and it's all coordinated even with the room design. And as you can see, we have the towel hooks as well, which I really appreciate. And that, in a nutshell, is our newly renovated standard room. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey there, Drop here. I wanted to interrupt just for a minute to tell you about my family's hotel, Travelers Beach Resort. We are a 60-room Jamaican-owned and operated hotel located on the world-famous 7-mile white sand beach of Negril, Jamaica. My father started this property back in '94, and myself and my brothers Winfield and Wingate took over in 2011 after my father retired. Recently, we've made some upgrades to the property, particularly to our rooms. They've been redesigned and reimagined with comfort and style at the forefront. The textures, the light, the layout, each space was designed with intention, balancing modern touches with the familiar spirit of travelers. Our deluxe rooms and suites, which you are seeing on your screen now, have gone through an incredible transformation. We now have 2-bedroom suites available for your accommodations next time you're in Negril. We're especially proud of our gym. It's designed to give you a high-quality workout experience with premium equipment, plenty of space, and an energizing atmosphere. Our lounge has become one of the more popular public spaces, perfect for a family game night or catching the big game. Of course, our restaurant and bar is located right on the beach, so you can enjoy the most beautiful sunsets in the world. We look forward to welcoming you home. For more information, please visit www.tbr.travel.
Welcome home.
This podcast is supported by Discovery Water. Whether I'm working or training, I reach for Discovery Water. 100% premium Jamaican spring water. Bottled in glass, no plastic, no gimmicks. Refill, not landfill. Just clean, natural hydration from right here on the island. Happy Sunday, everyone. Get this banner off. I hope you all have been doing well. There we go. I know it's been a little minute. I think we've been gone like almost 2 months, I want to say at this point. But we're back. I'm happy to be back. Happy to be doing this again. Happy to be back on stream. Happy to be getting a video out. Happy to see you all and communicate with you all out there, those who are live with us right now. And of course, those who are watching on the replay. It is 2026. I can't believe it. and a happy New Year to you all. I hope everybody had a safe and celebratory holiday, and they ended 2025 super strong, and they are energized and super excited, at least as excited as I am for 2026. I think there is a lot of amazing things coming this year, even with the global challenge that are there, the challenges that exist in Jamaica. I am for certain as excited as ever for what's coming and what's happening, particularly here in Jamaica. And today, of course, I want to take the opportunity to catch up with you all, hear what's been going on in your worlds, and try to be as communicative as possible and talk about some things that have been happening all over the island. There's a lot of global things that are affecting Jamaica right now, and I think it's a great opportunity and great timing to be having this discussion. We'll talk a little bit about what I've been up to for the last few weeks, or last couple months, I guess we could say at this time, and also why I am so excited for this year. There's a lot happening here with this channel that I'm going to slowly start sharing with you all and bringing you in and roping you in. But I think you're going to see a lot of differences in the next few months, particularly as it relates to content, the frequency of content, the type of content that we're going to be doing on the channel, and then also the types of opportunities that I'm going to be bringing to you all as well. I want to be very intentional about these opportunities. We have a few that we're going to talk about, one or two that we're going to talk about today towards the end of this stream, particularly here in Negril, that I'd like to share with you. But like I said, I think there's a lot happening throughout the island that continues to have me extremely excited and extremely bullish on Jamaica. And I'm so excited to be talking with you all about it. And of course, like I said, want to hear what you all have to say. So as usual, let's start out with where everybody is chiming in from, what city, what state, what country. It's been a minute. I will also share with you what I've been up to these last few months, and we have a little agenda here as well. I think I'm going to try to make this a normal occurrence, especially for those who are watching on the replay, so you can see what's happening. This is the agenda that I put together for today. We're probably not going to stay in order, but this will be a guide. You guys already know how it goes sometimes on these streams. These are the things that at least I want to talk about today. If we have time, we'll go for a couple of hours for sure. We'll probably get at least 2 hours in today. And as usual, I want to give these subjects enough time and space to breathe, let's say, so we can discuss them slowly and we can go deep and take our time to go through it. Sometimes we can't get through everything, but we're going to try to get through as much of this as possible. And, if there's something that we want to stick on, we want to save for later, it's up to us. It's totally up to us. So this is not a regimented, written in stone type agenda that I have here today. And so let's get to the comments to start off with, and then we'll get rolling. Bill, what's going on? Good to see you. Buffalo Soldier, been waiting on you. I'm here. Good to be here. Happy to be here. Donna, happy Sunday to you as well. Chiming in from Ottawa. Awesome. Yes, good to be back on the live. I'm actually, one of my goals for this year is I want to do 2 live streams per week. I really enjoy lives. I really that's the main thing. It's the more I think about it, this is probably one of the elements of the types of content that I create is the live that I enjoy. I really enjoy. I enjoy all of it, to be honest, but I really do enjoy the live streams because it's, to me, one of the best ways to connect with you all and this community. And I feel the more I think about it, this channel really got built up, so to speak, because of the live streams that we have. And I am just thinking how can I do more of it? And so trying to figure that out. Hopefully we can do that in the next couple months and be more regular, and also thinking of adding at least changing up the format a little bit. So that's more to come on that in the future. Hammer down, great to see you back. Throp chiming in from Montreal. Awesome. Nice to have you back. Nice to be back. Mickey Faye, welcome back. Happy New Year. Thank you. McKay Faye, sorry, cuz. Jen, good to see you. Wagwan, chiming in from ATL. Good to have you on. Thanks for being in the Throppers Think Tank yesterday as well, Jen. Appreciate your feedback and assistance and all that we discussed yesterday. We had an amazing Throppers Think Tank, first one of the year.
For those that aren't aware of it, it's our monthly think tank, our monthly video Zoom call that we do, just a few of us, and it's on my Patreon. Anybody who wants to join, you can join. You can go to my Patreon at patreon.com/throp, and you could sign up. We'd love to have you on. But really great, awesome group of people in that Shard Treehouse. What's going on? Welcome back, Throp. Happy Sunday and New Year to all Throppers from St. Lucia. Awesome. Diana Blake, what's going on? Thanks for hopping on. Paul, hi Throp. Happy New Year from UK, London. Awesome. Mark Thomas, welcome back, Throp. We missed you. Missed you guys too. I sincerely did. I really missed doing this. This is just part of my week. It's part of my Sunday. And one of the things that I wanted to start doing actually was starting at 12 o'clock, which we completely failed today. Completely failed. Things just happen. Yeah, you plan and this has got to do stuff. So I'm going to try. That's going to be my goal. Like, let's be consistent. 12 o'clock. I just need to start getting things together earlier so we can hit that time every single week. I'm going to try again for next week. I have to be on time next week, as a matter of fact, because I think I'm going to Kingston that evening. I believe I am, but we'll figure it out. Sutton McKay, hey Throp, happy New Year. Excited to hear about Negril news. We are launching our condos on the beach this week with Mora. Yes. We will be talking about that a little bit later. Exciting news all around. Alfonso Worth, welcome back, Throp and family. Happy New Year to all. Wishing everyone health, strength, and prosperity. Thank you so much, Alfonso. Good to see you. Tanya, what's going on? Happy to be in Negril Rock House. Awesome. Welcome to Negril. Good to have you. Mark Thomas, coming to you from Queens, New York. Welcome back and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. George, watching from Queens, New York. New York is in the building. Drill, Happy New Year to you and your fam, Throp. Greetings from cold Omaha, Nebraska. Sunshine in from Nova Scotia. Awesome. Fire medic joining from Harlem. Saw you the other day and thank you for taking. Thank you. Nice to have met you. I can't really see your picture, but I believe you that we met. The Pratt tourism is modern day colonialism, slavery, economics, sacrilegious, blah, blah, blah. Okay, thank you for your comment. Beaches taken away from Black civilians, just facts, proof. That's funny. I'm not sure if this is what you're referencing there, Dat Pratt. There's this, and I'm sure other people, I don't know if and what I'm going to talk about it, but there is this YouTube video that has been going, or it came out a couple of years ago, basically saying one of the fundamental aspects of it is that that only 1% of the beaches in Jamaica are accessible to Jamaicans, and just a lot of like factually incorrect information in that documentary. And it's just, and then every now and then, like somebody will bring it up. Like recently, it was on BBC News in an article form, and a bunch of people have been sending it to me. And I'm like, man, this thing is so not old, but it's from a few years back. And I think people just discover it and then rediscover it, and then it comes up as this issue, as this is like new information in the sense, but it's also it's factually incorrect information, and I think it definitely sends the wrong message because it's misinformation. At some point, I will talk about it and go through it. I think there is some merit to this documentary, but on face value, it's like it almost is like a gotcha piece. And I think if it was done in better positioned, let's say, and instead of sensationalizing what is happening, and they could have just stuck to the facts, and I think they could have accomplished what they were setting out to do, is what I'm trying to say. So at some point, I'm sure we will touch on it, and we will go into it. And one thing I would love to do is like have the proponents of this documentary come on and speak about it as well, because I think it's something that we can learn from, but also it's just like, like what the facts that you're putting in there, it just doesn't make sense. A lot of it doesn't make sense. So sorry, when I see a comment like that and I read it, I'm going to have to address it. Jamaicans in Nebraska. I was thinking the same thing. Sharon, happy New Year from Atlanta, Georgia. Awesome. Fire medic, joining from Harlem. Saw you last week, and thank you for talking about the crooked construction companies. You're welcome. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of that going around lately, but we may talk a little bit about that today. Blessings Throp from Birmingham, UK. To Sean, good to have you on. Nicole, what's going on? Greetings, Stomper from Toronto. Dat Pratt again. The Black poor civilians of Jamaica need proper housing development, proper health care should be number one priority, not tourism. That means you're dependent, not independent. I'll push back on that with you. We're not going to do this back and forth thing, but how is Jamaica going to make money? How do we increase the GDP? What is your idea for economic activity? Where is this money and funds going to come from? If it's not tourism, what is it going to be? What skill set do we have? What natural minerals, resources does Jamaica have to offer to the world that we can sell and get money in return? Our services that we can offer, skills that we can offer to the world in order to create economic activity. So let me know if your answer to that, please. Donna, the documentary was mainly clickbait, 100%. Crazy clickbait. And it's just, the thing about it is like, with this stuff, is it like so many people just, and it's the internet, right? People just watch a video, they see it, and that becomes the truth. That becomes what the reality of that subject for somebody. And then people just will take that one video or that one news clipping or that one social media post, and then they start advocating on the behalf of the people or the country or the business that was put in that video, and nobody wants to do any further research other than what's in that video. And I mean, it's a huge problem. We're going to talk about another instance of that happening to a Jamaican company now, and well, actually, that's going to be the next live stream. I'm jumping ahead. It's going to be a next live stream that we're going to talk about the instance that I'm referring to. But it's just one of these things. And when it's happening to, obviously, my country, where I live, where my business is, where my family is, it's like, it's very, very frustrating. And it's very frustrating to see so many people just fall prey to it. But it's the world that we live in. What are you going to do? Donna says it's factually inaccurate. That's right. We're not talking about the documentary. We're talking about the facts. That's what's happening in Jamaica. That's why we have crime, because the people are not living in comfort like gated communities. And like I said, you had made a point about tourism being slavery, modern day slavery, and we need to get rid of tourism, and we need to do hospitals, and we need to do all the things. Again, we don't have tourism. What is the industry that is going to allow Jamaica to make an income? How do we stir economic activity instead of tourism? Open question to you, Dad. All right, with that, let's get to this agenda, as I mentioned. We're going to try to stick with it, but I'm probably not. So I'm going to bring up let's see, what's the first article? Okay. So, and generally speaking, like, as I was preparing for the stream today, it's like, I think it's very, very important that we continue to keep the recovery at the forefront of conversations. Hold on 1 second. All right. At the forefront of our conversations and discussions. And I was just talking to a guest here at Travelers, and they came in and they brought care package material and goods, and we've been getting a lot of them, which is amazing. And I would encourage you all, if you're coming in the next few months, especially if you're coming to the western part of Jamaica, any part of Jamaica actually, but particularly west, we're just closer and a little bit more in it, if you will. Please bring items. It won't go to waste. And so this guest had brought these care package items, and they were just commenting on their experience of coming through the airport. Super smooth. You couldn't tell that a hurricane passed through a couple months ago. A Category 5 hurricane passed through a couple months ago. And that was their airport experience. Customs 123 ABC, drive to Negril, same thing. And they noticed on the drive to Negril is that they didn't really notice much damage. Like you had to look for it. And they did see it. They did see a few things, but they said, especially when they got to Negril, there was no sign of hurricane damage. And that's true. It's true. Negril, I keep saying this, we were very, very, extremely fortunate to have been, in many regards, spared. And don't get me wrong, we have our damage here in Negril. Even travelers got damaged, but it's nothing compared to many other parts of the island. In the surrounding areas of Negril, as you go into the Whitehall, Red Ground area, even going out to Sheffield, they had sustained a lot more damage on the outskirts of Negril. But Negril, when we talk about the beach road in particular, West End, I would say West End got hit harder than the beach road. Even deep West End, like some properties got hit really, really bad because that's essentially the South Coast, and that's where Hurricane Melissa came up. And so maybe actually I can show that to you. But what I'm trying to say is Negril, you could not tell Negril got hit by a hurricane, right? And we got super, super lucky. And so this, let me give you some context here. So this is the map of Negril, excuse me, of Jamaica. This is the map of Jamaica. And then Negril is all the way on the westernmost tip of Jamaica. And Hurricane Melissa came in just about here. This is Black River. This is ground zero. So this is where it made touch ground. And then as we move to the west, we got very, 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 very strong outer bands. We got the hurricane category 5 winds for sure. But we are more, if you look on the beach side, we are more on the western, like the flat western part, if you will, not up the south. I don't know if that's making sense, but these West End properties, especially as you go to deep West End. So this is deep West End. So if you go past the I mean, the lighthouse, I guess when you turn the corner of the lighthouse, that's what I would consider deep West End. And so you're on the South Coast, essentially. Like once you get around here, you're south heading east. And so, some of these properties took some really, really tough hits. And unfortunately, Deep West End does not have electricity still at this point. And it's really, and there's great properties around there. There's two iconic ones that I think of, which are West Ender Inn. Where are we at here? West Ender Inn here, and then pretty much right next to it is Jackie's on the Reef. Two great properties on Deep West End in many regards. Like they defined Deep West End. They were like, as hotel properties go. And really tough not to have electricity at this point. So I don't want to make it seem that the Negril was completely unscathed in this storm, but I do want to make the point that in many respects, Negril is doing just fine, especially when you compare it to other cities and communities in the Westmoreland area, and of course, as you move to St. Elizabeth. So we got very lucky in that regard. So still, my point here is that there are still many residents, communities that don't have electricity. There are still many residents and communities that don't have roofs over their heads, many homes that don't have roofs over their heads. There are many people who are staying with family members because their homes are destroyed. And so we don't want to forget about them. And this is something that we want to, at least I will always keep at the forefront as much as possible, and also bring the positive aspects of the recovery and the rebuilding phase that we are currently in. And we're going to talk about one of those shortly. So let's just start off with, let's just read this article real quick. This came out, this is from Jamaica Information Services, and this was on January 16th and reported by Vanessa James. Government launches shelter recovery program to aid Hurricane Melissa victims. The full story. The government has launched the Shelter Recovery Program, SRP, a multifaceted and coordinated national response to support individuals and families whose homes were damaged during the passage of Hurricane Melissa on October 28th. This initiative marks the country's transition from immediate hurricane relief to long-term recovery, encompassing the reconstruction, rehabilitation, and, where necessary, relocation of homes to restore dignity and security for affected Jamaicans. Minister of Labor and Social Security, Honorable Colonel Charles Jr., who provided an overview during the launch at the Office of the Prime Minister on Thursday, January 15th, explained that the initiative employs a structured assessment and verification process to ensure affected individuals receive the appropriate intervention based on their needs. He disclosed that to date, more than 70,000 households have been assessed, impacting over 200,000 individuals. The assessment categorizes houses into 5 groups: no damage, no significant damage, minor damage, major damage, and severe damage. So far, in looking on that 3-tiered categorization, the percentages are 42% minor damage, 40% major damage, such as you losing your roof, and 18% severe damage means you really have lost most, if not everything, Minister Charles explained. Under the SRP framework, individuals may access support through 6 initiatives: the restoration of owner and occupant family shelters, roofs, grants, government-led repair, partnership-led repair, National Housing Trust NHT support, deployment of modular housing solutions, and relocation or regularization. The flagship initiatives, roofs, has been allocated an initial $10 billion to assist households assessed as having sustained minor, major, or severe damage. Households assessed with minor damage will receive support of up to $75,000, while those with major damage will be eligible for up to $200,000, and those with severe damage may access up to $500,000. Roofs is the major component of the SRP that will allow for us now to satisfy the passage of benefit to the person who is either in the minor, major, or severe category. So if you don't have any damage, you're not going to be part of roofs. If you have no significant damage, you're not going to be part of roofs, Minister Charles explained. He cautioned, however, that households with severe damage will receive priority along with those deemed vulnerable, including the elderly, single-parent families, and persons with disabilities. The minister approximated that of all of the total allocation to roofs initiatives, $5 billion will be directed to homes assessed as severely damaged, while $4 billion will be applied to those classified under the second category of major damage. However, we do acknowledge that even minor category, you have persons who fit certain vulnerabilities. So of the remaining $1 billion that will be applied to persons who even have minor damage, but who overlap with certain vulnerabilities, he stated. Mrs. Charles noted that payment of grants under roofs initiatives will be facilitated through multiple channels to accommodate the diverse circumstances of beneficiaries. These include digital vouchers, prepaid or payment cards, direct deposits to beneficiaries, bank accounts, and approved remittance-based mechanisms. The minister added that checks will be issued only in exceptional circumstances. Mr. Charles informed that while other aspects of the SRP have already begun providing support to individuals affected by Hurricane Melissa, the Roofs Initiative is expected to commence by the end of January 2026. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness is urging beneficiaries of Roofs Initiative to utilize the funds strictly for their intended purpose. I'm appealing to those persons who may have it in their heads to do otherwise. Please use the grant for the purpose for which it was given. It's a lot of money. It's taxpayers' money, he maintained. The SRP is being administered by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Yeah, I hope they... I mean, that's putting a lot of trust in people. That's putting a lot of trust in people to use the money to put roofs back over their heads. It was one of those things that we, with our GoFundMe, which I guess we can talk about too, we raised over $80,000, and that was one thing that we were doing our best to do, is to actually buy the construction material. We have one more person that we're going to be doing that for, because our concern was giving out the cash and people using it not what it was intended for, and we wanted to be respectful of you all, the many people who out there who donated to our GoFundMe, and which I want to take the opportunity to thank everybody who donated to GoFundMe. It really helped out so many people, and I was just so amazed at how we were able to raise so much funds. And it was really this community that made it happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you on behalf of all the people, especially the staff and team members here at Travelers Beach Resort. And Yeah, thank you. And so I understand the concerns of the prime minister, and it's human nature, right? It's just human nature that I always think back to COVID. And I always give this example of some of my little cousins and people I know in New York, especially young people who had received the stimulus checks, and we're getting COVID funds, and everybody just blew it. Everybody blew it, you know. Everybody that I know. There's nobody that I know. There was I would say there's probably only one person. It was a friend, and he wasn't even American. He was Canadian, and he used his money, his money that he got from the stimulus package in a productive way that literally like leveled him up. And so I think it's hard in circumstances like this to expect people, like, I think most people will do the right thing, and hopefully it's to their benefit. But I think a lot of people who are in these situations may not use it for what it's intended for. But I'm just happy that the help is getting out there and going to these folks, and that they are organized. And this is one of the things that I was saying when this crisis first started was, we talked about who's the person with the clipboard, and we talked about initiatives just like this of getting organized and assessing the damage. What are the numbers? What are the analytics behind it? And it seems like the government, that is, got their feet under them. They've done their assessments, and they know what they're up against. And this is the plan that they came up with. I haven't really analyzed it. Is it enough? Is it like things are moving? And they said this is going to start rolling out by the end of the month. End of the month is less than 2 weeks away. And I think this is great. I really, really think this is awesome, that this is happening, and important that we know that things are happening and things are progressing. Let's get to the comments real quick, and then I will get to the next article. How long I'll be live today? I'm gonna go a couple hours. I got a dinner tonight that I'm gonna be going to, but I'll go a couple of hours until I get tired or hungry. But it's usually the hunger that gets me, and I have to try to find some candy or something to give me some energy. But no set time limit. We'll go at least another hour and a half, at least. Donna says the news media moves on to the next story, but recovery ID. I might be reading that one out of context. Hey Throp, hope that you and yours are doing okay. Thank you. Yep, all good over here. Donna says the news media moves on to the next big story, but recovery is far from complete. That's right, especially in more remote areas. Have to keep that in mind. 80s hair, happy New Year, Throp. Enjoyed your coverage of the topping off celebration at the Pinnacle. Sorry I missed it. So impressed with the project. The tower stood strong against Category 5. Melissa, shop soon. Thank you. And thanks for watching that. Appreciate it. 80s hair. Always appreciate your support. Dieter, what's going on? Happy New Year to you as well. Josh, what's happening, man? Happy New Year, bro. Just landed. Looking forward to connecting. Same here, man. Same here. Let's stay in touch, and let's definitely connect while you're on island. Jala, I hope they can't turn this. I hope they can't turn this around quickly. Time soon. The other. Oh, okay. Are you talking about another resident? Weather incident won't hit. So yeah, yeah, we can't take another one of these, But I see what you're saying. We want to get the recovery done as quickly as possible. And, God forbid something like as devastating or anything even remotely close to what we just went through happens the next hurricane season. But you're right. We have to move with a great sense of urgency on all of this. Happy Sunday to you as well, Suzette. And thank you for being a channel member. And thank you for all of my channel members out there. I appreciate you all. Shauna, what's going on? Happy Sunday to you as well. And thank you for being a channel member as well. That part says to reduce reliance on tourism and build economic independence, Jamaica need to diversify by boosting local production, especially food, investing in energy, strengthening small Black civilian businesses. I'm all for this. I think this is a great idea. And doing farm, but it's like we got to do that stuff at scale. We need investment, especially on the energy side. I agree with you. I think that is one of the main aspects that holds Jamaica back and makes the cost of living goes up so much is our reliance on uh we all globally rely on electricity, but I think it's how our electricity is produced. And we have one of the highest kilowatt per kilowatt hour charges in electricity in the world, as we know. And this is what drives up a lot of the cost across the board here in Jamaica. All right, let's pull up our little agenda here and see what we got next. Okay, I know what we're going to talk about. So it's our agenda for everybody who's coming in later, and there's no promises to stick to this at all. Oh, so hopefully I can find this article. Yeah, I didn't have it teed up. Nope, not going to work. So the article that I'm talking about is the border in St. Elizabeth opened up again. I'm trying to find the article so I can bring it to you all. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find it. Sorry, I don't think I'm going to find it. But I'll use it to say, unless somebody can find the article, that would be great. I don't want to waste your time searching for it. But I look at it's one of these things. If anybody can find it, I'll bring it up. I'll click the link and bring it up. That they had I think it was I don't know if it's a ribbon cutting ceremony, grand opening. But does everybody know Border in St. Elizabeth, where you buy the fish? Does everybody know what I'm talking about? I'm going to bring up the map just in case. So, all right, we're back to our map, and I know Border because I've been going to Border since I was a little kid. And as you may or may not know, Treasure Beach is one of the most special places to me and my family in Jamaica. It's just always been our getaway, particularly for me, my brothers, and my dad. And I have just great memories in Treasure Beach as a kid coming up. And even now to this day, I try to get there as much as I possibly can. And I think it's one of the most special places in Jamaica. I really do. And for those who have never been there before, man, I highly encourage you to check it out. Spend a couple of days there, and it's a very easy place to fall in love with. Let's just say that. And just a great, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful community. And when me and my brothers were kids, our dad used to always take us there, and we used to drive from Negril, and always on our way back, coming back from Treasure Beach, we stopped at Border, and they call it Border because it's between St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland. And I want to try and find it on the map here. Okay, here we go. And so this is Border. So this is Westmoreland, and this is it up? Yeah. And this is Treasure Beach. This is St. Elizabeth. And right on the border, let's see if it comes up on the map. Is this the corner? No. Oh wow, this is the hurricane. They update. That's crazy. This is updated from the hurricane. You can see like these. This is what the trees used to look like after the hurricane. Interesting. You can see like some parts have not been updated and some parts have been. Very interesting. I wonder if there's a way to get the date on this imaging. But anyway, I don't think I don't think I'm good enough. This is so crazy. I didn't realize that. I don't think I'm good enough to find border, but you get the idea. You get the idea of what I'm trying to say here. And that place got leveled in Melissa. Absolutely leveled. And anytime, like, and you look at anything that's been destroyed by Melissa, you just wonder, when are they going to get back up and running? Oh my gosh, how are they going to recover from this? And as Josh says, the best fish, you know. And so when we were coming back from Treasure Beach, because you have to go. That's the point I was trying to make. I got lost in the hurricane devastation here. So we drive from Negril and then we drive to Treasure Beach, and obviously we have to go across the border. And then always on our way back, we used to always stop at border, and everybody knew my dad, like, because he even made that drive by himself a lot. So he always had his people, his. I don't remember the lady's name. I actually did a quick interview with her the last time I was there, which was a couple of weeks ago. No, yeah, a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact, when we went to Parati, we stopped at border, and amazing fish, amazing fish. And so if you're going or coming from that direction on the south coast, coming into Grill or going to Treasure Beach, definitely stop there. And it's such a big part of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth culture. It's such a big part of that road trip, and it is like severely embedded in my mind as part of as part of my culture growing up. And if you've been there before, like, one thing that you know is going to happen if you pull up with on your car, everybody's going to rush your car. And that was one thing I remember as a kid, that I was like, at first I was scared, but then I thought it was so cool. And it was just like everybody rushed with their fried fish and their bammy, and they're trying to sell it to you. And and that's why I said my dad had his person every time that he went there, and he did his best, you know, to spread the wealth when he could. But like Josh said, the best fish, the best bammy. And it was really sad to learn that this place got destroyed during Melissa. And when we were talking about, I think we talked about it on my last live, we talked about how this is a devastating situation, but is also going to be opportunity throughout this devastating situation, on the comeback, on the rebuild, and we can become stronger. We can become bigger. We can become more resilient after this. We're going to learn from this. And I think, again, if somebody can look up this article, I would appreciate it, because it's just good to see visually. And so now they did this reopening of border, and it's better than it was before. It's, let's just say, it was very rudimentary in its own very charming way beforehand, but now it's been built back brand spanking new. And from what I understand, they also have a parking lot now where you can park, because before, and I still think you can do that, you just pull up on the side and you have everybody come to you, stick the fish in there, stick the bammy in there, and you can buy what you want. And now it's better. It's better. And to me, this is like a very visual and also personal example of how we can build back better and how we could build back stronger after Hurricane Melissa. And what an opportunity. And I think the people who have the shops there, the fishermen, I think this is going to bring more traffic there, more people there. It's just so much more professionally set up and built. And it's just great, you know, and it's just like silver linings, right? Silver linings in this thing. And in building back and in coming back, it's got to be better. We cannot go backwards. To me, is that we have to go forwards. And I think this is a great example of that. So I just wanted to bring that up. I think it's a good idea. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. And I hope that we continue. I hope that we continue to go down this path. And also go to Border, go to St. Elizabeth, go to Treasure Beach. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. All right, let's get to the comments here before we get to the next article. Quantity says biggest challenge for wealthy diaspora returning to Jamaica: lower construction quality, weak code enforcement, poor healthcare, security issues, bad roads, slow government response, unclear incentive. Yes, all negative things and all challenges that I will acknowledge to a certain extent. And so I say I will say let's go line by line here. So lower construction quality, I disagree with that 100%. If you look at what we just went through, a category 5 hurricane, and I'm talking, let's speak in the context of a person coming back from the diaspora looking to invest here in Jamaica and maybe investing in one of these new, beautiful, gated communities, ultra modern, blah, 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 blah. These type of structures did fine. There are structures that are in Black River, that are in St. Elizabeth, that are in Westmoreland, that took on this category 5 hurricane and have sustained very little damage, some no damage. And it speaks to the quality of the construction of these buildings and these facilities. So I don't agree with you on that. I actually vehemently disagree. I think we have great construction. I think we have great codes when people stick to the building codes. And these codes were enforced based on experience. And I'm thinking about Gilbert. And I think, and I believe, and I know that because of Hurricane Melissa, our building codes and construction codes are going to change once again. And it's going to be more resilient and go in the direction of climate resilience. And we're going to prepare these codes, etc., as if it's going to be, what if we get something worse than Melissa? And we want our infrastructure, not just buildings. We've been talking electricity, we're talking water. We want our infrastructure to be able to survive and thrive during these situations. So let's not get it twisted here. There are many, many structures who survived and were relatively untouched by Hurricane Melissa. So construction quality, weak code enforcement could be better. I mean, I think there's always room for that. I think there's always room for code enforcement. I can speak in particular for the hospitality industry. Code enforcement is very serious. We have a government department that has been specifically created to regulate tourism, and that's called the Tourism Product Development Corporation. And they come in and they inspect. We have health inspectors, and we have about 60, at least at the time I was in it, it was like it was a crazy amount of different regulatory checkboxes that we had to go through to maintain our status as a hotel. So enforcement, yes, I think there could be some improvement there, but I say that I think Jamaica has, generally speaking, has great laws. And yes, I think there can be more resources allocated to enforcing it. But it's not like I will say Jamaica is not what it used to be when it comes to enforcement across the board. And these departments and these regulatory bodies, they're on it. They really, really are on it. Could there be improvement? Yes, I agree. They could be better at it. Poor healthcare, definitely could have a lot more improvement in healthcare in Jamaica. No questions about it. We could have better hospitals. No questions about it. I do believe that is coming. There are a lot of investments being put, particularly into the public hospital sector of the country. I always say what Jamaica does really well at, and I will say better, in my opinion, better than America. Two things, actually. And I'm speaking from my experience here in the West, and particularly in Negril. Jamaica does very well, arguably better than the United States in respect to your day-to-day doctor visits, right? And if you're going to your GP, you're going to do your checkup, you're going to do blood work, you have to get your prescription medications, you need to do an analysis, like you have a cold, you have a flu, that sort of thing. The stuff that you need to go to your doctor for, your personal doctor for. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I would even say top tier, especially when it comes to waiting and things of that nature. I don't have to wait 2 weeks to make an appointment with my doctor. And to take that a step further, especially I would say you're in the diaspora and you're coming down here, again, speaking to Negril specifically, if you want a doctor to come visit you in your home or your residence, wherever you are, even your workplace, they will come and do that, and they will come and visit you, check you out. Mobile service is available. Of course, you're going to pay a premium for that, but that is available. I don't know of that being available in New York, or I'm from New York. Maybe it is, but I'm sure it's going to cost you quite a bit of money. And I think, the doctors here there's some very capable, very gifted doctors here in Jamaica that I think Jamaica is very lucky to have, in my opinion, and also in my experience. So I think Jamaica does very well in that situation. And again, of day-to-day doctor visits. I don't know what you categorize that as, again, and then also prescription medication. You're going to get it far cheaper than you would in America. No question, no doubt about it. If you're going to do blood work, again, it's the same. It's a utility. Your blood is your blood. They're going to analyze it the same way here that they would in America. Far cheaper. Turnaround times, could probably be, sometimes it takes like over a week, sometimes 2 weeks for some blood results. Some blood results you actually have to mail it abroad. There's one cholesterol blood test that me and my brothers get every year. It's called APBO, that they don't do native here in the country, that they have to send to Miami, and then we get the results back here. But I think that stuff is great. I'd also say I always go back to my example of getting. There are some treatments that are probably easier here and definitely cheaper. And one of them is, I'll give two examples. Like my knee, as I was saying, I'm a runner, marathon runner, and you get injured a lot. And so I've done a lot of MRIs, X-rays, MRIs on my joints, my ankles, and my knees in particular. Last MRI I got on my knee, I tore my MCL. I got the MRI done here in Negril at Omega Medical Hospital, essentially right across the street from Travelers, new private hospital, mind you. And I think I paid $300, 330 US dollars to get an MRI on my knee. Got the results back in a couple of days. And I also have insurance. So that was before I submitted my insurance claim. So I will get money back from that. And I don't remember how much I got back and how much the insurance took care of on that. But again, way, 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 way cheaper than it would be in the United States. I mean, you're probably talking $3,000 to $5,000 out of pocket if you don't, without insurance in the United States, I would say averaging. And even if you did have insurance, maybe you pay a portion of that. I'm not sure, but same information, same analysis on my knee. The last thing I'll say on that is I also got, off of that, I got PRP injections on my knee, and I got it done here. For those who are unaware, PRP stands for plasma-rich platelet recovery, something you can look it up, but they call this like the miracle injection. What it does is like they take a portion of blood out of you. They put it in a centrifuge. They spin it really fast. It separates the plasma from your own body and the blood in your own body. They throw out the blood, and then they take the plasma and then they inject it back into you, into where your ailment is. And for me, I had it done. I had a patella injury like 6 years ago, so I got it done once on my left knee. After that, like my knee has been good. Never had another problem with my left knee. Got it stuck did the same thing on my right knee with my MCL, brought me back, healed it quicker. And so essentially it's your body healing itself. It's not a steroid or anything like that. It's your own body being used to help heal itself. And so these sorts of medical procedures are readily available here. And these things, like I said, I'm sure there's more. I'm just telling you from my experience. I'm sure there's more. What you can get done here from a medical situation. We're going to get to the negatives in a second. I'm not completely biased here. And then also, I will even say dental as well. I think my experience here with dentistry has been amazing. I think about 2 years ago, I actually cracked one of my molars. Was eating curry chicken. Sorry, not jerk chicken. Bit into the bone. The bone got lodged in between two of my teeth and just like basically snapped my tooth in half. And so it was very dangerous. Like it could have cut my tongue. And usually I'd go to my dentist in New York. I've been with Dr. Kirsch since I was probably 7 or 8 years old in New York. So shout out to Dr. Kirsch, Upper West Side, West 86th Street, 115 West 86th Street. If you're in New York, you're in Manhattan looking for a good dentist, the best as far as I'm concerned, go to Dr. Kirsch, 115 West 86th Street in Manhattan. But I couldn't get to him in time, and it was too dangerous for me to keep that chipped tooth. It was very, very sharp. So I went to a new dental office here at the Boardwalk Plaza, which is a shopping plaza here, the new shopping plaza that has Hilo and NCB. I went to him, and he fixed it, put a crown on it. It's the same one that's in my mouth right now, in my tooth right now. And then a couple of weeks later, I went to Dr. Kirsch in New York, in Manhattan, and I asked him to check it out for me. And he was like, beautiful, amazing job. And I think Dr. Kirsch is the best dentist in the world. That's my opinion. And for him to say that he did a great job, and I told the dentist that, he was very appreciative of that. So the quality of those types of healthcare in Jamaica and Negril here in the West, I think, are phenomenal. I think it's really, really, really excellent. This isn't necessarily, don't get me wrong, this isn't necessarily the same experience as, per se, the average Jamaican. And so the average Jamaican probably has to go to a public healthcare facility. I think the main difference in going to a private place or having a private doctor come to you is time. Is like, I remember I had to go to, it was a healthcare facility. I was going to Africa, and I had to get my yellow fever vaccine. And I had to, there's only a few public facilities. You can only get it done publicly. You can't get this done privately because you need, if anybody has traveled to Africa, you need these yellow cards showing that you have yellow fever. And I think something else, but yellow fever is the one that I needed. So you can't get it done privately. It has to be done by the government to get this yellow card. And I was going with a bunch of Jamaican Americans, so Jamaicans in the diaspora, but who are American living in America. And they had to get theirs done in America. And I think they paid, I want to say about between $300 and $500. I want to say like $350 or something like that in the United States. To get my yellow fever down here, I don't think I paid over $10,000. It's probably less than $5,000. Somebody can look it up and can see. So that's just another example that wasn't even the point that I was making. But anyway, I had to go to this public health facility in Kingston, and it was hundreds of people waiting to see different doctors for different ailments. And it was in that moment like that I noticed viscerally that there is a difference in the healthcare experience in Jamaica, depending on what you're able to afford. I will say it was very organized. A lot of people, I found it to be very organized. You could tell, like, this is what this facility does. And like people who were going to see this doctor, going to see that doctor, the cashier, everything was super, super organized. But I'd say that is the main difference that I saw that day. And like, if I had gotten sick or if I wanted to go see a doctor and wanted to go to a public facility, you would get through faster. And that's one of the main differences that I would say in experiences in Jamaica. But I think that disparity is, I mean, it's probably across the board, right? I mean, and anywhere. I mean, I wouldn't say anywhere in the world because there are places in the world. I automatically think of a place like Thailand. I've never gone to a healthcare facility there, but from what I understand, their healthcare is like top notch for like everybody across the board. From what I know, from what I've read, and from what I've seen online. So that's where I would say there is a disparity here in Jamaica. Another aspect that I always say that Jamaica that I am weary of, that this is really the gamble in Jamaica, is in emergency situations. I think that's where I would be most scared of is a trauma, a car accident, a let's just stick with the car accident situation. You know, that's probably one of the most common situations here. Is there and I'm saying this from experience, especially here in Negril, as much as I talked about the positive aspects of being here, I've seen far too many car accidents, far too many people die in front of me, are on their way to dying because of car accidents, and just not having the adequate medical assistance that we need in an emergency situation. So there's that part, is like getting aid and help as quickly as possible in an emergency, and not knowing whether that help is here or is going to come. And there's been far too many times that we have had to put people in the backs of taxi cabs, or in the backs of a car, or in the back of a Jeep. And I'm thinking about very specific incidences here, right outside of Travelers, right here. And that's a gamble. And then there's a gamble about when you get to the hospital. You know, what is that emergency care going to be like? And I'm not sure. You know, and so that's where I would say the healthcare system in Jamaica. I was like, man, I think I would love to see it be better. I think we're on the way. You know, I really believe we're on the way. There has been vast improvement in Negril. Vast improvement. We have, for God's sake, we have a private hospital, and I know the private hospital here gets a lot of flack for being expensive, and overcharging and all this. That place is a blessing. That place is a blessing for Negril, for the guests who come to visit here, for emergency situations. They do have a clinic, like a regular doctor's clinic, that they have available. They have the MRI machine that I've gone to. It is such a huge asset for Negril, no matter how you slice it, no matter how you dice it, especially if you're in the diaspora and you have, let's say American insurance that will cover you. You probably don't even care how expensive it is. You just want to get better. You want to be healed. And so you have that. If you have your American insurance, you can use it there. So, and I've been going along about a long while about the healthcare. All right. So next point, quantity. You got me going on a tangent. Big, huge tangent here. Security issues. I mean, you're really going to bring up security issues? Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about security, and I'm in a positive way, in a magnificently positive way. The JCF has been doing an absolutely phenomenal world-class job. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. We've reduced our murders for 2025 year over year, 40 something percent, almost 50%. Some people say 50%. You could say 50%, but let's be conservative here. 40 something percent. I believe we are going to do something very, very similar in 2026. And I've been saying this for the last couple of years, that this is a different JCF. And there have been many examples leading up to 2025 that you start seeing the breadcrumbs, and you start seeing the reality of the investments they have made into this police force, from a technology standpoint, to a training standpoint, to a recruiting standpoint. And these boys are playing, say boys and girls at this point, because I'm thinking, if anybody remembers the Negril video with that female officer, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So the boys and girls of the JCF, they are not playing around. And I've been saying that they are not playing around. And there are many examples in 2025 to show you that they are ahead of the game. And I always say this: I used to think for many years that the criminals, the gangs, etc., were outsmarting and ahead of the police of Jamaica in so many ways. And it was and I said that on this podcast before years ago, and it was embarrassing to say and embarrassing to admit. And I could tell you that script has flipped and it's not going back. It's not going back. And you see the crimes that they are unfolding before they happen. You also see what happens when a lot of these dudes challenge the police. And you could see the police officers are extremely well trained and they are ready for these encounters. And I know a lot of people out there, and I'm not one for killing, I'm not one for the death penalty. I've always been against the death penalty, especially growing up in the United States, growing up in New York. But you challenge a police officer with deadly force, you're going to be met with deadly force. And I have no argument with it. I have no problem with it at all. And you're seeing this over and over and over again. And so security issues, fine, fair enough. But from a trending direction, Jamaica is without question moving in the right direction, and they're moving very quickly and they're moving very purposefully. And if you believe that Jamaica is going to go back to the way it was, and that you have in your mind, you have a certain picture of how Jamaica is and being crime ridden and being dangerous and all these things, we're moving in a very different direction as a country. And if you don't believe that Jamaica is moving in a positive direction in this respect, then don't invest in Jamaica. Then don't move here. Don't put your retirement house here. Or you can do it when things have calmed down and we have a very low crime rate. And then you're going to pay a premium and you're going to pay top dollar. And that's okay. That's your choice. Completely your choice. Up to you. Up to you. But if you believe in the forward direction and movement of Jamaica, and you believe that this is going to be a short-term problem, which I do, because we're seeing the numbers, we're seeing the evidence, we're seeing where we're going. I think security issues, at least from the standpoint of what Jamaica once was in this regard, is going to be a thing of the past. It's not to say that we need to take our foot off the gas pedal in this regard. We need to keep pushing. We need to continue to be aggressive. We need to continue to have our standards. We're going to go through some examples a little later in the stream in this regard. Security issues, bad roads, no argument, zero argument with you, zero argument. This is coming from somebody who lives in Negril. You could see the potholes from the satellite. I bet you can. That's how bad our roads are here in Negril. You're also talking to somebody whose guests have to drive from Montego Bay to Negril. I have to drive from Montego Bay to Negril. I have to go to Kingston. And yes, the roads are horrible. There's no question about it. No question about it. There's no argument about it. I do believe that, like the crime, like the security situation, I believe it's temporary. I believe this is short term. Could they be moving faster? Absolutely. No question. No question. I don't know when that's going to happen. I mean, I would love to get some sort of time frame, particularly here in Negril. From what I understand, is that the funds. This was before Melissa, of course, but the funds to resurface our road from downtown Negril all the way up to let's call it Long Bay. From what I understand, let's call it about Long Bay. The money for that has already been allocated. When the start date for that is, I have no idea. I have no idea. But the Negril Road is horrible. It's embarrassing. As somebody who lives here, it really, really is embarrassing. So I'm not arguing with you on that quantities, but I'd like to think that that is going to be changing relatively soon. Slow government response. I think slow government response is relative. Yes. I mean, could be. I'm not sure if you're talking about Melissa or are you talking? I'm not sure specifically, but could there be improvement? Yes, absolutely. No questions. No questions about that whatsoever. Unclear incentive. I don't want to make any assumptions in terms of what you're talking about, but yeah. Thank you for the comment. Appreciate it. I did not mean to stick on that comment for so long, but it was a good opportunity. Let me go to some recent. Do we have any? Oh, we don't have that many. Okay, let's go through the rest of these comments. We can quickly breeze through them. Chris DDS visited over Christmas. Where we stayed in Duncan's was back to normal. I drove to my hometown in St. Elizabeth, and the trip from Anchovy to Sainty left me speechless. Have to keep sight on recovery. Absolutely. Donna says Hurricane Melissa has boosted the sale of solar power units exponentially moving forward. New construction should focus on solar powered energy. Yeah. So I was at, I do Muay Thai. I try to go every Saturday now. And so the Muay Thai gym that I go to is on Deep West End. Shout out to Negril Muay Thai. And he put on his family, they put on their full solar. So they're Deep West End. Like I said, they don't have power, but they did the solar. Yeah, man, he was telling me the numbers, but I just wasn't paying attention. But anyway, he did the solar and now they have power back. And he said they wish they did it a long time ago. But you're right. Great point, Donna. I think it's a great way to have this alternative energy, especially during times like this. And I know they're very happy with their purchase. Chris says, borders open. Stopped there when I visited over Christmas. Fish still delicious. That's right. That's right. Richard says, big up, Drop. Thank you for all you have been doing. The consistency you have displayed since I've been a part of this channel has been unreal. I can only imagine the amount of work and commitment. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. 80s here. Tourism in Jamaica is going to the next level. From Freeport to Falmouth, the North Coast will be built up. Negril will be a niche boutique and will experience a renaissance like it's never seen. And I'm telling you that's what needs to happen in Negril. I might skip to the Negril stuff in a little bit, but Negril needs a renaissance. It needs a renaissance. We'll get to that in a second. We're gonna get to that in a second. Quantities again says overpriced, uncompetitive housing that won't hold up to market shifts. Examples: Pinnacle MLS 93149 at 6,545,000. I'm assuming that's 545,888. That's a price. Diaspora buyers can get the better value in Miami or the Caribbean. Perhaps I think that's viewer discretion. People can afford it. A lot of the diaspora, from what I understand, more than 50% of the people more than that. I think they said like 80 or 90% of the people who bought into the Pinnacle so far are either Jamaican or part of the Jamaican diaspora. Nicole, incorporate this place in your next conference so we can enjoy some food. We will 100% do that because we are going to St. Elizabeth in May for ThropX conference. So we're going to Treasure Bay Estates, and in order to get there, we got to go through border. So we'll probably hit there. I don't know. Maybe we hit there on the way there. Good question. I don't know. Now you got me thinking. We'll figure it out, but we will be hitting there, and you can check it out if you want. You can check out the conference. Got this cool new tool. You can scan that QR code right there and go to thropx.com, and it's on the top left of your screen, I believe. I'm not sure how it's coming out, but it's right here. You can scan the code and you can go to thropx.com and you can sign up for our newsletter. And we will be going to Treasure Bay Estates, which is one of the newest developments in Jamaica and the largest in Treasure Beach. And it's a very much community-based development, which is why I love it so much. It's being done by a St. Elizabeth family. And this is the first development that I'm doing of this nature where the family owns the land that they're developing, and then they're opening it up to the wider world. And then they are very much a Jamaica first, a Treasure Beach first mentality and approach to developing this property. And they want to incorporate the community in the development. So it's a very, very unique development in how it's being put together and who the players are in it. And then also the support. Almost, I'm sure there are people against it for whatever reason, but it's almost like the whole community, from what I understand and the people I've been talking about, they are very excited about this development, and then the whole community is supporting it. So I'm very, very excited to be bringing this to you all. And for those who are coming to ThropX this year. Looking very much forward to having you. So it's the May 24th to 30th this year. And I know a bunch of people have already bought it. We haven't even done the advertisement for it, and people are already buying their tickets, which I really, really appreciate. And people have booked their hotel rooms already. And we'll see how it goes. I'm not saying there's going to be two ThropXs in 2027, but we got two this year. And so if you want more information, you want to sign up for the newsletter, you can scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. And like I said, we would love to have you. All right, let's keep rolling. I'm going to take that QR code down. I'll leave it up there for a second, but let's keep rolling here. If I could find the comment. There we go. Eddie's here. Post Melissa Jamaica will be back bigger, bolder, and beautiful as ever. I totally agree with that. Sutton McKay says government should be offering government-backed loans through insurance certificates for lenders to provide mortgages to people to rebuild and or upgrade their homes to code. Not a bad idea at all. 80 said there are more quality built structures on the island. Was worried during the 10 hours of pounding 270 kilometers winds from Melissa. Many shingles blown away. Some ply too, but the old wood roof held strong. And it says, Happy New Year. I had the same thought as you, wondering about how people who receive so much money would spend it wisely. I was exposed to the British concept of getting borrowed money to show the proper construction before getting the next tranche. So since government sent out people to assess, they need to then maybe they could use the same people to verify the money being used productively. You know, I would say, I think this is a swell idea. I think this is a really good idea. I will say, just from my little experience with doing this GoFundMe, we were trying to do that, right? We were trying to regulate, and we did in a big way. We tried to regulate the funds in terms of how it was distributed. And I don't think we collectively understand how much manpower that goes into doing something like that. And I can tell you, managing the $80,000 and making sure that all the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted we did it, but it was annoying. It really was. And it was just like, man, I don't know how people do this on a regular basis. And it's not like you're just writing checks and you're getting receipts. Like, we're going out in the field and we're going to our employees' homes and we're going to people's homes. We are doing missions to St. Elizabeth. We're doing missions to Deep Westmoreland. And so we're there, we're in there. And like, this takes a lot of energy, a lot of logistics. And granted, this is not our day-to-day jobs, but we also have businesses to run. This is like my family talking about the GoFundMe. We also have our personal lives. And I'm not complaining. I'm saying that just trying to bring perspective, to managing these things and to managing them in a way that is transparent. And then for us, that it really respects our donors, because we were just so thankful and grateful that the donors had entrusted us with their funds, with their donated money. And so we wanted to make sure that we did right by them in every way. And so we made sure we did this, we made sure we did that. And we went, I'm not going to say above and beyond, but we made sure that we were holding a high standard into how these funds were allocated. And it was a lot of energy. And we even got to the point where we donated a lot of the money to the Rotary Club, because we liked their standard. And they were also, this is what they do. And they were doing this from Hurricane Beryl. They had a system that they learned, and which they were physically going out and assessing people's homes, and then assessing the need, and then giving either the funds or the specific needs, buying the material, to get to those folks who needed it in a barrel. Because what they had found out is initially they were saying, hey, send a picture in of your home and the damage, and we'll send you the money, and we'll give you the needs that you're looking for and requesting. When they looked into it, people were sending pictures of that were either online that they grabbed off of some website, or it wasn't even their home. And so with these situations, you're always going to have people who take advantage. And you're always going to have people who, and I promise you, I'm experiencing this, is like, even though you give and you give a, and in some cases you give a lot and from my perspective, people are always going to want more. It's crazy. It's crazy. And a lot of times it's not the people who need, if you know what I'm saying. It's not the people who are in these desperate situations. It's the people that you've helped, and their lives have become better, and they weren't necessarily, if we were going back to the scale that the government was using to assess and hand out funds, it wasn't the devastating level, let's say. And we helped them, and they still want more. And I remember talking to my brothers about this. I was just like, man, this is crazy. And it was also exhausting because it was so disheartening, because some people who were asking that they didn't need the help, that I was letting them know. So it's like, man, if I'm helping you, that's one less person. If I'm helping you in this capacity, let's say, that's one less person who is in much greater need and a much more dire situation than you are, that I cannot help. And so my point is there is this need for oversight, and there's this need for accountability, but it takes a lot of energy and a lot of manpower, and I think more than we can imagine. And so I can only imagine what these guys are going through, the government, in this bureaucracy, and then having people being frustrated, rightfully so, very frustrated, not having a roof over their head and not getting the aid that they think they should be getting in a much faster time. But then also on the other side of that equation, having to have certain checks and balances in place. I would not want to be in their position. 100%. I do not want to be doing what they're doing. And this has been my little experience with my GoFundMe. And this is a big reason why we partnered with the Negril Rotary Club, a Rotary Club of Negril. And if you've come to me in the last few weeks and you've asked me where to donate, that's the direction that I'm sending you in, because they have the systems in place, they have the checks and balances, they have the manpower that we don't have here at Travelers to be allocating towards these systems. So I just wanted to kind of just talk about that a little bit. All right, let's keep rolling here. Clyde, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you for being a channel member. Hey, Throp, nice to see you back on air. Do you take some time out? Yes, I've been gone basically 2 months at this point, and so just took a little break. We've been doing some reorganizing, reassessing here at Throp Media, here on the Throp channel. But we're back now, and happy to be streaming again. So I'll be back consistent, and as long as like I'm not traveling or something like that, I'll be back every Sunday. 80s here said Caribbean Solar Life gave me a great price on solar. Christy DS, as a dentist myself, I would like to come back and set up a new practice back in Jamaica. I think you could do very well. I think you could do very, very well here in Jamaica. I think it's a great idea, and we'd love to have you here. Shades Gale says, talking about Negril as if it's a separate island is not helpful, even though you are an excellent interviewer. What? I'm not sure. I don't know what you're talking. I don't know what you mean by that. Please elaborate. Quantity says, as a licensed Florida general contractor with 40 years experience, the structures on YouTube, failed or not, don't meet Jamaica's ICC codes. Roofs that lack sleething / trusses, I don't know what that is. Windows and doors weren't installed to code. I will, as the expert, I will default to you and trust that what you're saying is correct. I don't know what that means. Jala, are there many alternative healthcare systems there? Naturopathic clinics? I don't know. I can't speak to that. I'm sorry. I'm not sure. Dennis says, just want to touch base on the insurance in Jamaica. A lot of insurance here in the USA don't work in Jamaica, so not all insurance companies work. I'm not sure. I don't know. I know that hospital doesn't take, as far as I know, I don't think, as far as I know, I stand to be corrected here, but I think what happens a lot is like people pay cash and get, when I say cash, credit card, and then they get reimbursed by their insurance company back home. I believe that's how it works a lot of times. Don't quote me on that, but I've heard and understand people do that in emergency situations. But I think what you're saying, Dennis, has merit. Eric Cohen says, I feel very safe in Jamaica. The JDF is not playing. No, they are not. Agenda 2030, that's why, but scary, really. Speak more on that. I'm not sure what you mean, Ghost Painter. 80 Sarah says, a strong economy floats all boats, and it's reflective in the crime statistics. Mayor of Montego Bay invited displaced criminals to take up farming, which is in higher demand than gang activity. Kwani says, before claiming construction is built a code, ask any Jamaican builder to provide material tests for the concrete blocks, lumber, and steel, along with geotechnical reports. Again, you're saying you're the expert. So, like, I'll take your word on that. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I'm just using the example of the many buildings that I saw that survived Hurricane Melissa, Travelers Beach Resort being one of them, Category 5, Beryl, Hurricane Dean. We've been through it all. We still here standing strong, 10 toes down, and we good, knock on wood. Thank the Lord. Eileen, where have you been, Throp? I'm here now. You haven't posted in a while. I was worried about you. Sorry, I just logged in. I missed the beginning. Yeah, no, you know what? I appreciate, so many people have reached out to me on Instagram asking if I was okay, because I haven't really been posting. That's true. I didn't post on Instagram. I'm good. I promise you. I've been silent. I've been scheming. I've been planning, and a lot of it will come through to fruition in just a few short weeks and a few short months. But all good here. Thank you. Thank you all for checking in on me. Samuel says, Throp made my investment 6 years ago. Never regret. Awesome. Happy to hear. Congratulations. Dennis says Beach Road used to call Boulevard, now worse than Kane Road for a resort town. Can't argue with you on that. It's really bad. It's really bad. Patrice says, Throp, given that brain drain is a major issue that has affected Jamaica, what is the position of Jamaicans in the diaspora with certain skills returning / moving home to help fast track improvements? That's what this channel is about. That's what this platform is about. And I think there is, and I know a lot of great examples of, let's say, young people in their 40s. I'm in my 40s, right? That are Jamaicans, either first generation American Jamaican, like they come from Jamaican parents, but they were born in America, that are either have moved back here, preparing to move back here, gearing themselves up to move back here, and bringing their skills to Jamaica. And there are also Jamaicans who were born in Jamaica, who have gone abroad, got educated, have worked in a professional capacity, and have now moved back to Jamaica and have started businesses here. And they're using their education and their skills to help build Jamaica. And I think it's a great idea, because there are so many aspects of life here and also business where there are opportunities to improve it. There are many amenities and businesses that I can think of that are missing here in Negril. And if you come here and you do it well at the same standard, I always don't come here and try a thing, as they say. But if you do it at the same standard that you would in whatever state or first world country, let's say, that you're coming from, you're going to do well. And I can tell you, as Negril in particular grows, as it devolves and grows in its way, the people who are coming here, even the people who are growing up here and traveling the world, the standard or the expectation of the standards are moving along with the world. And I don't think we're living in an economy here where people are going to support, let's say, a substandard. When I say standard, like a global standard of a business. And so I encourage you to bring those standards in anything that you do in any industry, in any business that you're thinking of starting here. And if you do that, I think you will do exceptionally well in Jamaica. So I encourage people in the diaspora, especially of all ages, but definitely people of the working age. And I use the example of people in their 40s, like the millennials, because you're at like such a it's a unique juncture to be in because you're you're young enough to have the energy, the ideas to even experiment a little bit and also maybe even take a little bit of the risk of leaving one country and moving back to, although it's maybe your home country here in Jamaica, and having the energy to put it into a new business or into a new venture. But you also are old enough to have lived in the world without cell phone, social media, but you've also young enough to use your college or post college education. And you also have a lot of very tangible experience in whatever field that you're in, that and like that like front of the line experience. And what I'm saying, and I'm saying that juxtaposed to say somebody who's been retired for 10 years or 20 years. And I'm not, and nothing against anybody who's retired who's coming in here, but it's a very special position to be in, to come in and to add those skills, active skills, and to add that active business to the economy, because you're helping in a very real and tangible way to build and to grow Jamaica. And if you're starting a business here, you're probably going to be employing people. And maybe you're going to be employing young people. And maybe some of these people become your mentorees and you become a mentor for them. And I always say, even if you're not opening a business here, maybe you are part of the retirement community and you're coming down and you're building your dream home, or you're buying into a gated community. I always say your presence alone makes a difference in Jamaica. Your presence alone makes a difference in this community. There are people who are going to be looking up to you. There are people who are going to be looking at you and saying, maybe who are even living in the United States, who's saying, man, if Charles and Jocelyn are doing it, hey, maybe I can move back as well. So there is a level of inspiration that is created by your presence and decision to even do that. So it all helps is what I'm trying to say. Alfonso says the Spark program to fix 600 roads across the country is fully active. I think the next 5 to 7 years, the entire Jamaica will be potholes free. The government just received $6.7 billion. And you know, Alfonso, thank you for making that point. And this is like the incredible thing. Like, when you think about the recovery and the rebuilding phase that we're in right now, Jamaica has never seen this type of money before. Never, 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 never. This is a cash injection into our economy like never before. $6.7 billion is an incredible amount of money, no matter what part of the world that you're in. But you bring it to a country like Jamaica and where we are, man, we are gonna build a new island in a way. And I'm not saying like this is gonna fix the whole of Jamaica, but if used the way that I think it's gonna be used, you're going to change the economy in the long term. And we've never seen this type of money. And that could do a lot of positive things from an infrastructure standpoint. That could do a lot of positive things from an inspiration and inspiring outside investors to come to Jamaica, because who knows when people see this road or this highway or this government facility, or we're investing in this, we don't know what's going to happen, but that's a lot of money that we've never had before. So keep that in mind. Thank you for that, Alfonso. Appreciate it. Brian, what's going on? Thanks for being a channel member. Appreciate you. Missed my notifications. Glad you're back on. Happy Sunday to all. Great to see you as well. Fonzo says, Throp, I think you should talk about the massive $6.7 billion loan/grant the government will receive in 3 years to rebuild Jamaica in general. Never in the history of Jamaica has we ever had this spending opportunity. I think the hurricane is a blessing in disguise. Sorry for the loss of lives, though. Yes, so I was reading your mind. Obviously, we're on the same page, and you're absolutely right, Alfonso. Never has it like you and remunerate on that. Anybody, and anybody who's saying that Jamaica is not going to move forward, like remunerate on that. This has never happened before. We've never had this cash injection, and it is a very, 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 very big deal. And as I said, with this is going to come incredible opportunity. And it must have been the last stream that I was on that I was talking about, there's a lot of people who are saying that they feel bad about, thinking about investing in Jamaica because of Hurricane Melissa, and that they don't feel it's appropriate. And I get it, and I understand. And maybe in some respects it's not appropriate. But I will tell you that there are many people who are not thinking like you and who are not putting the situation of others and empathizing with others who have been drastically affected by this hurricane. They're not thinking about those people. And all they are thinking about is, how can I take advantage of this situation? And to me, I'm thinking, how can we get more people like you who are thinking like that, who are thinking empathetically, to invest in Jamaica instead of those people? And maybe not instead. To me, those people are going to be coming no matter what. They're going to find a way to weasel their way into this, and they're going to find a way to take advantage of the situation. It's just the reality. It's just, we're seeing it already. It already is happening before Melissa. That there are, I always say this, is that everybody watches my platform. I'm not saying like everybody, like every type of person watches my platform. Every type of person uses and sees the same information, and everybody doesn't interpret it the same way. Everybody doesn't use this information in the same way. There are good people who use this platform. There are not so good people who use this platform. And both types of people are taking this information and using it for better or for worse, let's say. And so the same thing with this hurricane situation. And to me, if we can drown out these bad actors, let's say, and we can drown out these bad actors with well-intentioned people who have the resources to really make a difference in a positive way in our country and on our island, then why not? Why not? And I'm going to try to encourage as many of those folks as possible to come into the fold, so to speak, and to be a part of this and be a part of this positive movement and this positive direction that the country is heading in. Whether you believe it or not, it's happening. It's happening. I've been doing this for years. Somebody was saying it before about how consistent I've been. Like, I'm going to continue to be consistent unless something changes, then we'll talk about that. But every indication that we've spoken about here is about forward movement. I mean, it's not happened and hasn't happened overnight, but I've been talking about this since 2020. I'm going to talk about it in 2030. When we were in 2026, and we're here now. Hammer Down, thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate you. Good to have you back on air. Peace and love. Appreciate the donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Always appreciate your support. I really do. Condessa Fabulous. I think that's what it says. You're absolutely right. RE folks always wanting more. Often it's who shouts the loudest. Speaking from my experience working with refugees in small teams, in a small team. Brian says, running a donation-based charity is absolutely 100 difficult process. Your honesty and energy can only go so far. It's all logistics and monies have to flow just right. Yeah. Banta, what's going on? Good to see you, sir. Hello, Throppers. Thank you. Ramon, what's going on? Dream team. That's right. In the building. Next says, we spent 5 nights in your hotel. We'll definitely be back. Awesome staff and food. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Nice to have you, and thank you for staying with us. Throp, is your dad's first name Manly? No, it's not. It's Winston. Yalis, wife and I will be home in a couple of weeks to get our passport TRN and open up a bank account. The kids will be also applying for the citizenship. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Great, awesome. Like, and I was just having a conversation with a couple this morning staying here at Travelers. And same thing, like get these. I don't care where you are in your journey. Like if you're thinking about Jamaica, you're thinking about moving back, you're thinking about moving here, get these 2 things done. Just set yourself up. Just give yourself up. Well, the 2 things I'm talking about is TRN and bank account. Just have it. Just have it. Just have it ready to go. And then if you want to move towards your citizenship, do that as well. If you can do that through the consulate in the United States. I think is it in DC? I know you could do it in New York. I definitely know you can get the process started in New York. But just do it. Just do it. It's one of those things that's like it's just paperwork. It takes time, and just get it out the way. Just get it out the way. And you can make your decision later whether you're going to pull the trigger on moving here or investing here or whatever have you. But at least if you do decide to make the move, you got that out the way, and then you can just move so much quicker. Jala says, take the time to do what else you need to do, Throp. Your posts are worth the wait. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Vanta says, Throp, spoilers to the point where if you go silent or missing for a few weeks, we all draw for bloodhounds and search and rescue. I suppose it's an indication that we love the program. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Very kind of you to say. G. Gordon, thank you for responding to the question about brain drain. Thank you also for shedding a positive perspective from a younger Jamaican who moved to the island. It is very reassuring. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Appreciate your comment. Jamaica says, there's no place like Jamrock. Let's bring back our talent experience back to Jamaica. That's right. 80s here says, life is rough in Canada, and I'm not only referring to the weather. If you're Jamaican, especially second generation, what are you waiting for? I look everywhere and see opportunities on the island. Well said, 80s hair. Sitting here watching 364. Happy New Year, Throp. Welcome back. Thank you so much. Sitting here watching says, never seen so much money, thus greater mismanagement. Possibility, if you believe that, if you believe that. But I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity for the country. I really do. Jala says, sometimes you have to spend money to make money invest. That's right. Yapway, I think. Hey, Throp, how do you feel about the shift from paper money to digital currency? And the U.S. is growing. What do you see in Jamaica? Good question. I mean, generally, digital money is safer. I think there is, the thing with going fully digital is like it does marginalize a group of people, and the group of people is usually poor people. And I know in New York, I believe they tried to do it, but then it's illegal for a business to do that, to have, we only take credit card, because, believe it or not, even in the United States, there are people who just don't have a bank account. It's just all cash. They go to, even my neighborhood in Brooklyn, we have check cash places. Like they literally take their paycheck that they get from their job, and they go to this check cash place and they pay a certain fee, and then they get the cash, and that's how they live their life, and that's how they pay for everything. And so not everybody has access to a bank account or to a digital platform. And so that's something that we have to keep in mind, and something that if we're going to be doing that, that definitely has to be phased. I think of Japan. I go to Japan quite often, And usually almost every year, I'm lucky enough to do that. And one thing about the Japanese is they are what is very much part of their culture is their physical money, especially the coins. And it goes back generations. And then even like they have like their coin purses are just part of a lot of people's part of parts of people's person. And when it works, and they're a very advanced economy. And don't get me wrong, like you can pay if you're in the cities, like you can probably pay Apple Pay, credit card, everywhere you go for the most part. But it's paper money coins is very much a part of their culture. All of their vending machines you can pay like that, and they're like probably the biggest vending machine culture in the entire world. So I think here in Jamaica, I think it's a good thing because I think it would be a great thing for, even entrepreneurs. Imagine, I'm sure that's happening somewhere in Jamaica now that a jerk chicken person was taking a bank transfer. And, imagine people having just like a Stripe machine and that you could touch your phone and you can pay for jerk chicken or a taxi or something like that. I think that would be a good thing in that regard. But I don't think that's at least I can't see us doing that where that's all we have and that's the currency. Like you have to have a phone or you have to have your Apple Watch or something like that. But I think I think it's a good thing to move in that direction. Like I said, I think it's safer. I think it brings more people into the formalized economy. Of course, people are gonna be like, "Oh, the government's going to know how much I'm making and taxes and all that." But we need that. We need to move in that direction. I think it's important in that regard. 86 says Hurricane Melissa devastation and the rebuild to the sign is a sign to double down. The money was coming before Melissa paved the way for it to happen faster. Callison, what's going on? Agreed that 6.7 billion is a lot of money, but managed poorly. It doesn't go far. Let's take what's happening with UHWI. Where else is the level of fraud and corruption taking place in other ministries? Yeah, I don't disagree with you. It has to be managed properly. And yeah, it could flounder, but I would like to think that there are so many eyeballs on this. You have the opposition that is taking up every little thing that is happening and going on with the government, which can be annoying, but at least there is a counterpart, and I always said any country, it's so important to have a strong opposition, and they are questioning things, and they should be, and the government comes back and they say and they explain, and that's that sort of thing. So it's active. I think that's good that it's active. People are paying attention, and for things to say disappear, like yes, it's happened before, but I also believe that Jamaica is like we're becoming a very different Jamaica. We really, really are. At least that's what I believe. Dennis, what about the more police presence on the beach like the old days? I think Negril was much better. Yeah, I mean, the police are there. Don't get me wrong. The police are there, but of course, we want to see more. We want more police officers in Negril for sure. Cats in the Six, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Call James. Is there any plans to fix the beach road and put more streetlights in Negril? Literally talking about this, Friday at breakfast. Yeah, fix the road. Yeah, we need to pave the road, but we need lights. And I think that should be part of the renaissance of Negril. And so there needs to be a renaissance in Negril. Like we're gonna. I'll finish up with these comments and we'll get to Negril stuff right now. See, we're gonna hit the 2-hour mark. I told you we go a couple hours. And so Negril, a renaissance needs to happen in Negril. Let's just say there are a lot of elements of Negril in 2026 that are worse than in 2006. That's just the reality. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. And there are a lot of things that are better than Negril than now that I can speak to. But there are things that we were doing better and had better back then that simply got let go and we just don't have anymore, and it just sucks. It really, really does suck. And I believe, and I keep using that word renaissance, is like that's what it's going to take to bring Negril back to its glory days. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm not going to discuss it now. There's a lot of reasons. And this is like one of these, when I was talking earlier about doing a second live stream show. This is our agenda, everybody who's coming in late. When I was talking about doing a second live stream show, the idea was to do something along those lines. Talking about Negril, its history, where we're going, what we're doing. Because I don't think a lot of people know and understand Negril's history in terms of how it was set up. And also, I think what is incredibly important to understand Negril and why we are where we are is to understand the politics of Negril. And I've never learned so much about the politics of Negril until this hurricane. Let's put it that way. And I've been here 20 years at this point. This is my 20th year living in Negril. And wow, talk about this hurricane being a blessing. And I never expected this is something that I would learn during this time. But it made me understand why Negril, in many respects, has been left behind and in some respects forgotten about. And a lot of it is our own fault. It's the people of certain people of Negril, let's say, certain people of Negril. And this is the second show that I want to do here on the live stream, and we'll do it sometime during the week. And I think it makes for a fascinating discussion. And I think, in many regards, and I don't know if I was going to say, like, Negril needs a mirror to be held up against itself. And we need to look ourselves in the mirror and take accountability in many regards. But it's so hard for me to see that, it really is. And there is a high level of entitlement by many people who live here. Like, it's crazy. It really, really is. And many times, we are our own worst enemy here. We really, really are. Anyway, I'm going to leave that for the second show that I would like to start, live stream show I would like to start, and have an open discussion, not just my opinion, but hear the opinion of others, and especially the people who have been here for a while, who know much more about Negril and have much more of a lived experience. I'm talking about more than double the amount of years that I've been here, let's say. GFJ, let's say, I want to see more of our Caribbean cousins moving to Jamaica. Also, I'd love to see it. I watched some interviews with some of them on a YouTube channel. That would be great. I think that would be amazing. Justin, what's going on? Good to see you on here. Fanta Black says Jamaica's potential to be the best global hub is unmatched, perfectly located and filled with some of the best skilled, learned, and practiced minds. We are a rarity. Jamaica's God's favorite channel. I like that. 80 share. Thank God we had cash or Hurricane Minister, or we'd have been able to buy food or water or gas. Great point. Great point. Cash was ruling everything during Hurricane Melissa. Another reason not to go digital, I guess, in that sense. Great point. Because remember, we had no cell phone service, Digicel and Flow were down. Electricity was obviously down. Getting gas when the gas stations did open up, all cash. No credit card machines were working. And this was for weeks. And then you guys already heard me talk about the ATM machines. If you've been following me, if you're following me on Instagram, and the last live stream that we did here is that those became crazy. They actually had to call the police at NCB at one point for crowd control and this and that. But you can imagine when these crisis situations happen, people get desperate, impatience grows. People don't have roofs over their heads. It's hot, no AC, no fan, mosquitoes, and it all plays into it, right? And so cash was king for sure. Great point, 80s hair. So yeah, we might not be fully ready for that. Rice and Tree says, hey, Throp, I have a land purchase opportunity to present to you and your platform. What's the best way to contact me? I'll contact you. Yeah, you can email me, throp@thropmedia.com. And that's the best way. Throp at thropmedia.com. Alia Smith, as Jamaican living here, very frustrating with the development of Negril. You're telling me right now, and a renaissance has to happen. A lot of people think, and I think that this is true, is what's going to spur it on, and what I think a lot of us are waiting for and hoping for is the Negril International Airport. That is our savior. Honestly, that is our savior. And because we know that in order to have that thing built, the amenities surrounding this airport have to equate to it. And from what I understand, this is going to be a state of the art international airport. That's what I understand is coming here. And so the town has to be, I think it's gonna be inspired by that. And not I think the private sector investments are already coming here. I tell you that right now. The private sector believes in this like crazy. Acquisitions are happening of hotels. We're going to talk about a few in a little bit. I got to get to it. We're about to hit the 2 hour mark. Acquisitions of hotels are already happening. People are buying land. People are buying into developments that are happening in Negril. So the belief is there. I can tell you that the belief is there, and it's not just talk. It's one thing to say, "I'd never invest in Jamaica. I never invest in Negril. Negril's going down. Negril's going nowhere." But then it's a whole nother thing to believe and say you believe, and then come and put down 100, $500,000 or whatever it is, US dollars, and are in some cases multiple millions of dollars in Negril and investment in commercial property. So the belief is there by many people. That says, I think some of the challenge with the progress that we are trying to make is the methods of awareness seems to cause more confusion and exclusion than inclusion. I'm not sure I totally get that. If you can elaborate a little bit, I would appreciate it. Callison says, you're right about Japan being the vending machine capital of the world. At every storefront, every street corner, you see one. I think that's also an opportunity here in Jamaica as well. Vending machine culture. Anyway, Marlene Rose Mighty. What's Jamaican vibes on the Venezuela situation? Are they in support of more U.S. attacks on Venezuela? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about that. Maybe we could. Maybe we're just here in the West. We're just more like recovery, get businesses up and running, get more people here. And we're in a tourism belt, but I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about that here. Westmoreland keep voting for the wrong people, and it shows them. I don't want to get into politics with this, but I'll leave it at that. Somebody said something funny along the same lines. It's just like, we'll leave it at that. Also, we can talk about the JTC buses running to rural locations now. I had a chance to travel from Ochi to Kingston, cost 500 Jamaican dollars with a bus card and 550 cash. Beautiful thing. That's definitely one of the positive things that has happened in Negril is that we got JUTC buses. And so we got I think that is that what it's called? Like, no, that's the school buses. But you have there's two different types of buses. And if somebody can just correct me on my nomenclature here, you have like the JUTC city buses, let's say, that you're going from say Negril to Sav or Negril to Lucy. But then you have the coach buses. What are those called? That are, I guess, direct competition to the Knucksford Express that will travel from, say, Negril to Kingston and doing the long haul trips. Yeah, and these are government buses. This is amazing. This is game changing. Excuse me, talking about changing the quality of life for the average Jamaican. That is it's a quality bus. It's a way more affordable way of transportation, long haul and short form transportation. And I always said that as a small hotel, that was one of the biggest disadvantages that we had, is that you may be paying the same amount of money for an employee at a small hotel, or maybe even more at a small hotel than somebody working at an all-inclusive hotel. But they make more money because they have a staff bus, and that bus saves them sometimes 30% of your money, of your paycheck, could be going directly into transportation, going to and from work. And those staff members who are working for an all-inclusive don't have to pay that, don't have that expense, because they have a staff bus, and those hotels are able to afford that. But now, because we have public transportation and we have these JUTC buses, you can use that and pay for transportation at a fraction of a cost. So from that perspective, it helps a lot, tremendously. And then same with the rural school bus system, you know, going to and from school and saving kids money. Like, it's great. It's super, super, super positive. Thank you for this, Norris. JUTC Premium Service. That's the name of it. That's what you're able to use, the coach buses that are the equivalent to Nexford Express, which is also a great. I haven't traveled the JUTC Premium service yet, but I have traveled Nexford Express. Great experience, great asset, great business, great service to Jamaica in a massive way. Shauna says, can we discuss the politicization size, sorry, of cherry picking on who, i.e., parishes, towns, and etc.? That's a dark side that I observed during recovery efforts after the hurricane. Oh, so you're saying that certain, are you saying like certain communities were are being cherry picked to be helped and others being ignored? I just want to make sure I understand that. I refuse to call Hurricane by her government name. Therefore, her nickname is Mimi. Okay. Is that weird? I just want to make sure I'm clear on what you're asking here, Shauna. Vanda says you can travel. You can travel with bags to be placed underneath the bus, Wi-Fi service, and USB plugs for charging phones. Departure times from Oshi to Kingston from are 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 3:30 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. Awesome, great service, great service. Yes, that's correct. I heard about this. I don't know. If it's true. I don't know. I can't say that this happened here and this person didn't get this, but I heard people say that. So I'm not saying that it's not happening and that some people aren't being marginalized. I don't know. I honestly, I haven't looked into it. If you can send me something that we can discuss, so I can talk about it from a more informed position, that would be good. Gordon says, I recently purchased property in Negril and plan to move there as soon as my home is constructed. Briefly, what should I know about living there? Where in Negril? So West End, Beach Road, Whitehall, Red Ground. All I'll say is you made a great decision. And I think you made a great long-term decision. And I think the value of your property is going to exponentially increase in the next 5 to 7 years. User, iDrop, I love your reasoning. Appreciate it. Thank you. Callison says, sometimes the hurdles to overcome regarding development can be discouraging. I mean, yeah, definitely. Definitely. And it's in a lot of ways in doing business here in Negril. I'm in Jamaica. I keep saying Negril. But yeah, I hear you on that. I've been trying to develop property. I'd purchased in Westmoreland 3 years now. Prior to purchase the property, my vision was clear, only to be railroaded by a neighbor putting up a pig farm. Oh my goodness. Does not sound good. Going through the courts can be a long walk. Yes, very much so. I'm sorry you're going through that. That sounds really, really bad. I don't know what you were going to be developing there, but I'm sure having a pig farm near anywhere is going to be tough. I've only been to a pig farm once, and the smell is crazy. So that's gonna be tough. I hope you get through it, that Carlson. I wish you the best of luck with that. I just realized there's an agenda in the bio. We'll try to adhere to the topics in the bio so I may not stray. I'm not adhering to the agenda in the bio, so please stray. And we're probably not going to get to a lot of the agenda items there. That's my bad. I'm just going on these tangents, but I like them, and I appreciate your comments, and I think it's great to have discussions of this nature, especially on topics that I may not be have planned to speak about, and I'm okay with doing that. I'm okay with riffing like this. Alfonso says, I think Jamaicans should keep their mouths shut about Venezuela matter because we're dealing with a revengeful revengeful person. Jamaica depends deeply on the American tourism and remittance. Absolutely, absolutely. A beach slot up the beach from your hotel. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think that's great. Congratulations on that as well. I think you're going to we're actually going to be talking about a beach lot shortly. Um some beach lot opportunities. Congrats on that. Jamaican but lived overseas since I was 14. Good decision. Good decision. Looking forward to welcoming you to the neighborhood. Michelle, thank you for being a channel member. Appreciate you. The government needs to improve zoning laws. Sure, I don't know what context you're saying that in, but agreed. Buffalo Soldier says, have people/buyers been made whole with some of the faulty building and builders being behind, etc.? Did or can the government step into it? Says, what are you speaking about specifically, Buffalo Soldier? If you could just let me know. All right, let's get to what's the next topic. Hold on. I don't know where we are on the agenda, but I know we're not on the agenda. Okay. Hurricane relief, US Jamaica relations, visa situation. Da, 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 da. All right. Let's talk on that real quick. We talked about crime and safety a little bit. Let me pull up the oh yeah, I want to talk more about crime and safety. I can't wait. So sorry, I got my a million tabs here open. I'm just trying to get to whatever it is that I want to talk about here. So I'm trying to find the article talking about. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Sorry, let me bring the agenda down. I'm not going to touch on this topic too much, but I think it's worth talking about. U.S. suspends immigrant visa processing for 75 countries, including Jamaica. Oh, it's a quick article. We'll just read through it real quick. The United States says it will suspend the processing of immigrant visas for the citizens of 75 countries, including Jamaica, whose nationals are deemed likely to require public assistance while living in the United States. The suspension will start on January 21st, will not apply to applicants seeking non-immigrant or temporary tourist or business visas. In addition to Jamaica, nations on the list include Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Cuba, Dominica, Grenada, Haiti, St. Kitts and Haiti, St. Kitts, Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, according to the list published by Fox Digital News. The U.S. State Department, led by Secretary Marco Rubio, said Wednesday it had instructed consular officers to halt immigrant visas applications from the countries affected in accordance with the broader order issued in November that tightened rules around potential immigrants who might become public charges in the United States. The Trump administration is bringing an end to the abuse of the America's immigration system by those who would extract wealth from the American people, the department said in a statement. Immigrant visa processing from these 75 countries will be paused while the State Department reassesses immigration processing procedures to prevent the entry of foreign nationals who would take welfare and public benefits. The statement did not identify which countries would be affected by the pause, but Donald Trump's administration has already severely restricted immigrant and non-immigrant visa processing for citizens of dozens of countries, many of them African. And so, yeah, that sucks. That's happening, and definitely does affect Jamaica. But I do like, I watched a brief. It was a clip. I didn't watch the whole interview, and the prime minister talking about why why it's just what did he say? It basically saying like this is why we need to make Jamaica. Basically, why we need to build up Jamaica more than anything else. So that's we were talking about before about brain drain and trying to encourage and influence reverse brain drain and having the Jamaican diaspora come back to Jamaica with their skills and experience to help build the country. And yeah, I would love and I see a future like this. You know, I would love this to I would love Jamaica to become a country where you can be educated here, you can have a career here, you can go to university here, and of course maybe there may be subject matters that we don't necessarily specialize in or offer and that you have no choice but to go abroad, but not maybe not necessarily America, it could be somewhere else and you can get your education there. But for the most part, that you would want to do a lot of that and have a lot of your life lived here as opposed to going somewhere else. I'm not saying like you should just stay here. I'm always and I've always been and always will be an advocate for travel and having travel experiences. I think it's, I said this to my team last week. I think travel is like the ultimate human experience. And I think it's one of the greatest ways to open the mind of anybody is going to and seeing a different culture. I know some people are like, oh, it's just America. But for somebody who's never traveled before, that's quite an experience. Even just like simple observations of how people go about their life. And imagine being able to travel to the Far East. We're talking about Japan and are going to Europe and different parts of Africa. There, you're going to see and experience things that you never saw before that you may be inspired by, or you maybe even change your perspective on how you view government, how you view infrastructure, how you view health, nutrition, sleeping habits, you know, whatever have you. You know, it's such an amazing, wonderful experience to be able to go around the world and view and experience different cultures, and to take those experiences, those lived experiences, and bring back aspects of it to your home country and to your life. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to make you a more well-rounded person. And that effectively is going to make a better society the more people that we get to travel and experience different parts of the world. And if they can do that and get an education or do that and bring skills back, the better, the better. And so I think the prime minister's point was like, man, if we can turn Jamaica into a country where the majority of the people, I don't know, I think that is like where like the majority of people like don't want to leave and they just want us, they want to stay here because we have great roads, because we have great infrastructure, because we have great amenities, we have great health care, we have great social programs. We have great socializing, you know, and this is the kind of Jamaica that we want to build, and the more so with everything that's going on, you know, and it's not just America. It's a lot of countries that are moving in this direction. We're seeing the rise of this ideology of just anti-immigrant in many, many, many countries. And you're seeing different forms of it. You're seeing anti-immigration in this sense, and not when wanting criminals. They call them criminals, but they're not wanting immigrants to be a burden on their system and their infrastructure. But then you're also seeing it from even like anti-immigrant, like on like anti-tourism, you know, and there being people against locals being against tourists coming to their cities and to their towns, and they're saying that they're ruining it and they're changing the culture and they're raising prices. And a lot of these things do happen, you know, a lot. I mean, I always go back to, and I shared this experience with you when I went to Bali last year, and I had a horrible time there. I don't know. I don't want to go back there because it's it wasn't Indonesia that I went to, and that's what I was expecting. And it just has become totally westernized. At least that was my experience. And I there were very few cultural experiences that I could point to in that country, and it didn't grab me. It didn't pull me in because it was just so westernized and overly commercialized. And yeah, that combined with Bobby Belly, like, yeah, I'm not going back there. Ugh, no way. And so anyway, there are tourism places around the world where the locals don't want tourists and they don't want them to come in. So what I'm trying to say is that like this anti-immigration or anti-immigrant ideology, it seems to be spreading, and it's just something to be aware of, and something to take into, let's say, take into account, right? And this is obviously a channel and platform that is very much pro Jamaica, that is Jamaica first. And I think and believe and have always believed like in the potential of Jamaica. And I do believe I've always said this, it's like it's going to be us, Jamaicans, whether you're living here or you're in the diaspora, that's going to build Jamaica and take Jamaica to the next level. I will continue to believe that. And I think we all have a great opportunity, and might I even say responsibility, to be a part of this thing in a real way, and especially with the way the world is going, So, for those of you that are in the diaspora, and I'm sure, especially those who are living in America, you're experiencing certain things that many of us can't even speak to, which I won't get into, and I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. All right, let's get to our next article along these lines. So, I do want to talk about some positive aspects as it relates to the American Jamaican relations, and that is our travel advisory. I think this is awesome, amazing news in that we have been lowered our travel advisory. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this, that this happened yesterday. U.S. lowers Jamaica travel advisory to level 2 after Hurricane Melissa. The United States has lowered its travel advisory for Jamaica to level 2, according to an update on Saturday. While the advisory level was reduced from level 3, U.S. officials noted that there were no changes in the underlying risk indicators, which continue to include concerns related to crime, health, and natural disaster. Excuse me, natural disaster. The updated advisory also reflects changes to the summary language, emphasizing that some areas of the island carry a higher risk than others, that travelers should review the full advisory before visiting. The advisory highlights Jamaica's ongoing recovery from Hurricane Melissa, which made landfall on October 28th, 2025, causing extensive damage, particularly in the western parishes. While all major airports have since reopened to commercial traffic, some communities continue to face post-storm challenges affecting infrastructure and essential services. Areas such as Black River and Montego Bay remain in varying stages of recovery, and travelers are urged to exercise increased caution when visiting these locations. U.S. officials also recommend confirming the availability of accommodations, transportation, and other services before traveling. In December last year, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett addressed the Level 3 advisory, saying that any Category 5 disaster would trigger caution among source markets. He said he was optimistic that the advisory levels would ease. The very thought of a Category 5 hitting anywhere and its consequences would evoke an immediate level of caution by any country, Bartlett said then. But the reality is those levels would change the circumstances. The fact that we have shown that level of resilience and have had a recovery that is phenomenal, that the World Bank is saying they have never seen any country recover this fast, all this has an impact. Jamaica remains one of the Caribbean's most popular destinations, and the downgrade to level 2 places it in the same category as several other countries where travelers are advised to remain alert but not avoid travel altogether. So this is an amazing development. And it also speaks to how the world is viewing Jamaica and its recovery. And I know that here on the ground in Jamaica, people are very critical of how the government is moving. And like I said, and I have been saying, they can always move faster. They can always do a better job. But if we look at it from a global context and a global perspective, the government is doing a phenomenal job. Electricity is one of those things that I will point to. I think they've done an excellent job. I think that they have done an excellent job in getting aid out, the care packages. I'm not saying that this didn't happen, but I haven't heard of anybody starving to death because they couldn't access food after the hurricane. Maybe it has happened, but I am unaware of it. I think the distribution of aid to the most devastated areas was done. It did an incredible job. And I know it was public private partnerships. A lot of nonprofits came in, but a lot of the coordination happened through the government agencies. Again, JPS, I think, has done a really great job. And there are, and even, I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it. I won't go any deeper than that. And I think, and I've spoken to people who have gone through hurricanes in the United States who have come down, and they were saying that they didn't get electric. I forget which hurricane they were talking about, the last person I was talking to, but they didn't get electricity and water back till, oh yeah, I was speaking with somebody from, I forget what hurricane it was, but they were from North Carolina, and they had some hurricane and they didn't get water and electricity back for like a month or something like that. This is United States. Another person, another storm, another area told me that their town didn't get electricity back for 3 months. And Jamaica, like, not everybody has electricity back. We know this. I'm not saying we're in cotton candy and unicorns are running by in grassy fields. I'm not saying that at all. But under the circumstances, and also based on who we are and the expectation that a lot of people had for how we were going to bounce back from this, I think we've done an excellent job. And I think the appreciation for how quickly we come back is not going to be understood or appreciated until years from now. And I understand the frustration, especially by the people who to this day still don't have a roof over their head, who still don't have running water, who still don't have electricity. But overall, these things take time, but overall, I think they're doing a good job. That's all I'll say on that. And the fact that the US government has looked at us and said, based on our recovery efforts, we're lowering your travel advisory from a 3 to a 2. And that has a significant economic impact. Significant. So we're thankful for that. We're appreciative of that, especially tourism being our number one income earner. And it's a great thing. It really, really is a great thing. All right, what else is on our agenda here? All right. Crime and safety. Okay. Let's see. All right. So with this one, this is kind of going back to our conversation that we were having in the beginning of this stream. And we're talking about, this is a different JCF. In many ways. Sorry, let me get to some quick comments here, and then I'll hop into it. Noah says, hi, Throp. It's time for the government of the Jamaica to start building a high-tech industry to keep the younger generation from leaving Jamaica, and welcome back. I agree with you on that. I think that's a great way to go. Ann says, oh, your experience in Bali is very real. Please check out the documentary series called Overbooked. That informs the dire effects of over-tourism on many vacation spots. Example, Venice. Yeah. I mean, I just remember thinking, so after Bali, I ended up going to where did I go? We went to Thailand, Vietnam, and then I visited my cousin in Seoul in South Korea. And I remember being on the bus in Seoul with my cousin. We were going from Seoul to the city that she was working in. I just remember thinking, like, just looking out the window on this wintry bus ride and just thinking, man, could that ever happen to Jamaica? That we would be so infiltrated and influenced by foreigners where we essentially lose who we are. And that was just like a scary thought to me. And I thought, like, no, it couldn't happen. Our culture is too strong. It's too strong. But, never say never. Never say never. And I was just like, man, because it was just, I just wasn't expecting that experience in Bali. But it's a real possibility, and I think it's important to be aware of this sort of thing. And this is coming from a person who's very much encouraging investment to come to Jamaica, especially from the diaspora. And that is something that I would never want to lose. It's the essence of what makes Jamaica Jamaica. And like I said, and when I experienced and saw that in Bali, I was just like, man, this is horrible. This is like really, 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 really bad. It's just like completely, completely taken over. Anyway, next comment. Carla saw the advisory and was very pleased. I was there in December and it was great. I was on the North Coast and felt like Jamaica handled post recovery very well. Awesome. Buffalo Soldier speaking on the developers that didn't finish the development. A friend of yours was affected as well. There's a couple of I don't remember specifically what I might have been referencing when I was talking about that, but there's a couple that I have in three actually that I have in mind as you say that. I'm always careful about this. We're gonna talk a little bit about it later, which later is gonna be soon because we're going on here. But thank you for that, Buffalo Soldier. Dennis says, right now I'm in the middle of building up a house in Negril to move back after 30 plus years. Awesome in New Jersey and about to retire and move back. I just hope to see a better Negril. I think it will be, especially with your help and your presence being here. I really do. I believe that. All right. So let's get into our, what are we talking about? Crime. Yeah, that's right. Okay. This is the article I want to bring up. Man, the Observer has too many ads. Like, this is crazy. Two government employees arrested in cocaine bust at St. Jude's Airport. You guys hear about this? I think, again, just the crime stopping overall in Jamaica is it's just getting better. Like, this is a different country in this regard. And I think this is also, like, I look at this like this is moving the culture. I don't think people realize that. This is moving the culture in the biggest of ways. I wanted to touch on SLS a little bit too. And I know I have been critical of the handling of SLS and financial crimes. But we're going to talk about that. It wasn't on the agenda, but we're going to talk about that. But I think this plays into all of this. And we were talking earlier about, so now, like, the action, the crime fighting action of the JCF. And there are many, many, many criminals that are losing their life because they're challenging the police. And yes, the police taking them out speaks to how well trained these officers are and how ready they are for when they are challenged. But the intelligence side of this is what I would say I am even more impressed with. And they know, from what I'm seeing and from what I understand, they know a lot more than the public may think that they know, especially as it relates to crimes. A few months ago, we talked about, I can't remember where it was, but the Forensic Institute that they had invested in, the JCF and the government had invested in. And that is like, when I saw that, automatically I was thinking cold cases, I was thinking DNA, I was thinking Law and Order. You know where I'm going with this, right? And then couple that with what I was saying before, with the intelligence and the cyber crimes unit that they have. This is a different culture of JCF. And the message that I think that is, especially with this situation here, this article that we're about to read, is like nobody is above the law. And I think this is a great message, and these are two senior people in their jobs, and there's a sting operation. And again, going back to intelligence and going back to intelligence. And this is sending a message. SSL sending a message. And these are the kind of situations that change culture, that change behavior in a real way, in a real way. And I don't think like I'm not reading this as like, oh, two government employees got, not government employees, two, oh yeah, two government employees got arrested for cocaine at the airport. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. All right. So let me, because I think in the big context of things, this is a big deal. So let's read the article real quick. This is January 17th, Jamaica Observer, who wrote the article. Sorry about these ads. Like, this is crazy. All right, Kingston, Jamaica. Detectives assigned to the Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division, FNID, have arrested two senior government employees, a man and a woman, following their seizure of $5 million worth of cocaine during an operation at the Sanctions International Airport in St. James on Friday. The identities of the suspects are being withheld pending further investigation. You can find out who they are. It doesn't take long to find out their names. But according to a release about midday on Friday, both individuals were intercepted by port security and FNID personnel at security checkpoint while attempting to board a flight destined for New York. During a search of their luggage, officers found several false compartments containing rectangular packages of cocaine weighing 9.25 kilograms. The illicit drug was an estimate street value of 5.4 million. A search of a handbag also yielded a sum of cash in the United States currency. One of the suspects also revealed to the police that he had ingested more than 70 pellets of cocaine. He has since been admitted to a medical facility under police guard. Director of FNID, Superintendent Patre Rowe, said that the police have intensified their operations to nab perpetrators involved in the illegal firearms and narcotics trade. This operation underscores the intensified investigation by the Jamaican Constabulary Force to maintain the integrity of our borders and hold all individuals accountable, regardless of their professional standing or social status. We're continuing our mission to further dismantle the networks that facilitate the trafficking of illicit drugs and firearms, said Superintendent Rowe. The investigations into the seizure are ongoing. Awesome. Awesome. I mean, I think this is amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And this sends a huge message. There are probably other people who are doing things like this. I guarantee this is going to stop certain people from doing this. They're not doing it. Like, this sends a huge message about the culture. And maybe these folks were paying certain people off and da da da. I mean, use your imagination based on movies and TV series, right? But this sends a huge, strong message to people who are doing this sort of thing. I think it sends a huge, strong message to the world at large that, hey, Jamaica is not playing around when it comes to these things. Now let's see how many years they get. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think these sort of things send a message. I'd also encourage you, if you follow the JCF Twitter page, Facebook page, and Instagram page, it is. I want to see if I can bring it up real quick. It is one of the most entertaining, and I mean this in a good way, one of the most entertaining pages that I've ever seen or been a part of. They are hilarious, like in a good way. In a good way. Let me see if I could find this. Jamaica Constabulary Force. This got to be it. Nope. It's a lot of fake pages. All right. Yeah, it's I don't even know if I should bring it up, but it's entertaining, and it really keeps you up with what's going on. And they put out very, I would say, like, especially if like they're going, let me just try to find, maybe I shouldn't be making fun of well, they're making fun of these people, the people that they're going after, and they're putting out the wanted posters for, and it's entertaining that, and they also can see that they're taking their job very, very seriously. So I won't go into it, but I encourage you, if you follow them, you know what I'm talking about. I think it's a great run social media page, and it really keeps you informed. All right, let me see. Let's bring up the SSL situation real quick. All right. I'm sure you guys have already heard. Like, when I saw this, I was like, man, I want to go live. Like, I wanted to go live on this like immediately, because we've been talking about this for years at this point. And yeah, and it's just so good to see some progress with this. All right. So I'm sure you guys are already aware of some of the progress, let's say, with this case. So SSL, this is from December 29th, 2025. This was written by Laverne Barrett, senior staff reporter. SSL execs face court January 26th. Three-year probe turns corner as investment firm's former senior officials charged. From the left, Stocks and Securities Limited founder Hugh Croskery, his daughter Sarah Meany, and former CEO Zachary Harding have been charged in the fraud investigation at the collapsed investment firm. And there are the, I guess, suspects that we could call at this point. Law enforcement, let me see. Hold on. Let me see how long this thing is. All right, this thing is long. We'll just read a little bit about it, and we will just have a quick discussion. Law enforcement officials are seeking to quell public criticism of their three-year investigation into the alleged multi-billion-dollar fraud at collapsed investment firm Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL. Inspector Brenton Williams, head of the Constabulary Financial Unit, called the alleged $5 billion fraud long-standing and sophisticated, and said the complexity of the investigation cannot be overstated. Probing it, Williams said, required a comprehensive review of events dating back to SSL's inception in 2006, including careful analysis of investor activity and how funds moved over the 17-year period before it collapsed. We understand the public's expectation for swift results, and that delays we can be viewed negatively. Work of this nature takes time and must be done diligently. He said in a public statement released late yesterday by the Financial Investigation Division, FID, the agency leading the probe. However, the JCF, FID, and our law enforcement partners, including MOCA, have the capacity and the expertise to conduct these investigations thoroughly and bring matters forward in keeping with the rule of law, added Williams, making reference to the Jamaican Constabulary Force and the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency. The assertion came after 3 days. After three former SSL executives were arrested during a series of coordinated operations in St. Andrew and St. James. Later on Saturday, the three, founding director Hugh Croskery, his daughter Sarah Meany, and former chief executive officer Zachary Harding, were each charged with breaching key laws governing the financial sector. The FID confirmed. All three have been charged with fraudulently inducing persons to invest, failure to register a company carrying on business in Jamaica, carrying on a securities business without a dealer's license, failure to apply the Financial Services Commission to be registered securities issued, and breaches of the Banking Service Act. Similar charges have also been laid against SSL, the Harding-led Delta Capital Partners Limited, and the SSL Growth Equity Limited. The FID said the charges fall under the Securities Act, the Bank of Jamaica Act, the Banking Services Act, and the Larceny Act. Harding also was also charged with breaching the Companies Act. Released on bail, Croxy and Meany were released on bail in the sum of $1 million and are scheduled to make their first court appearance on January 26th. Their attorneys, King's Counsel Peter Champagne and Michael Hemmings confirmed. They were ordered to surrender their travel documents as part of the bail conditions. Sources revealed that Harding was also granted bail, but the conditions of his release were not disclosed. Champagne pushed back at public criticism of his decision to grant Cross-Carry Station bail. He acknowledged that the old Bail Act of 2001 placed a $400,000 ceiling on the bail some law enforcement personnel of the ranking superintendent and above could authorize. However, the attorney said that the new Bail Act of 2023 is silent on that. The provision was not carried over. He told the Gleaner yesterday, adding that the accused persons have a constitutional right to bail. Champagne said that the client has consistently maintained that he did not do anything wrong and has always made himself available to the relevant authorities. He also urged caution from those who are quick to want to pronounce guilt, allow the process to be ventilated in court so that there is a proper evaluation of the situation in a judicious way, the attorney said. Acting Senior Superintendent Victor Barrett, Deputy Director of the Police Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Division, noted that the complex financial investigation demands discipline, teamwork, operational precision, and a careful coordination across multiple units. Yes, we are reading the whole thing. He said that the latest developments in the investigation highlight what is possible when law enforcement agencies work together, work in step, share intelligence, and secure evidence in accordance with the high global standards. Positive movements, and I think this is like the article says, they are suspects and innocent until proven guilty. They made bail. They're preparing for their court case on January 26th. Let's see where it goes. But we all knew, as we stated before, that there was no way that this was being done by one person. So we'll see what happens with this case. We'll be watching it very closely, and we've been talking about it for years. And like I said, I've been critical of the pace at which this has been handling, but all credit to those doing the investigating. I understand that this stuff takes time, a lot of numbers, records to go through, and this is not a case you want to mess up. I get it. This is not a case you want to mess up. You want to approach this like the feds, right? And so the feds in the United States, as many of you are aware, have a 99, 98% conviction rate, and that's the level of scrutiny that this prosecution is going to be under and have to be able to prove everything. And I'm sure all of that, putting all these records together, going back 20 years, takes time. I get it. I understand. And like I said, we'll keep abreast of what's going on with this thing. All right, let's get to some comments here. Mystical, so good to see you back. Thank you very much. Brian says, it's my understanding that there is a bag like that in the flight to NYC, New Jersey area every day, a minimum real network of corruption. Oh yeah, well, let's see. Let's hopefully they catch more of them if that's the case. Char Treehouse Throp. The U.S. has over 100 prime businesses based in Jamaica and growing. Their advocates keep the pressure on the U.S. State Department to inflict less harm from a catastrophe like Melissa. Thank goodness. Johnny Johnson, good to see you. El Paso, Texas, Juarez, Mexico, tune in. This happens every day in major U.S. airports. Hasn't any different. Georgina says, I don't think it will deter. Oh, it was good to see you, Georgina. Nice to have met you in person and your family. The greed for money and the get-rich-quick mentality is real. They don't care. They are just hoping they don't get caught. Man, well, I hope they catch more of them, because it doesn't do any good for us as a country. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. I mean, it makes it harder for all of us. Jamaica says, some anti-Jamaican and non-patriotic voices are focusing on the number of people killed by the police while ignoring the bigger picture. Jamaica has achieved its lowest murder rate in over 30 years. That's right. We're moving in the right direction. There's no doubt in my mind, at least. Johnny says, the banking sector is safe in Jamaica. I don't. Mr. Chin, board member, billionaire, is broke. I don't know about that. But yeah, I think it's safe. And, I'm doing business here. Continue to do business here. Continue to invest. Continue to reinvest here. And I will say I'm confident enough to put my dollars here, and I think many, many, many people are, millions of people are, as a matter of fact. Jamaica says SSL, three big wigs, one by one, y'all going to jail. Drop. No, you're not too into politics, but have you seen the new elected MP of on the ground in Negril? Physically, no. No, I have not seen him on the ground. I also haven't been to any meetings, Chamber of Commerce meetings, JHTA meetings. I haven't been going to those, so maybe he's going to those meetings. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But no, I haven't seen him physically. I have not. And not to say that he's not out there. You asked me a direct question, give me a direct answer. Not to say that he's not out there. All right, let's keep going with the agenda here. Okay, I was going to get into the economy investments. I was going to go into going on the 3-hour mark here. I was going to go into the Bogue infrastructure, Bogue Road. So I wanted to, I wanted to watch this video. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up so you guys can actually watch it. Watch here. So this is a great channel to follow. Let me give him a like. Brown Boss Jamaica Tours. I'm gonna put the link in the comment section here and go ahead and give him a follow. You guys can watch that. But it's talking about, hold on one second. Talking about Bogue Road. If you've flown into Jamaica and you've come to Negril, you're passing this, and he just
interchange. So I'm gonna start from the intersection.
And he gives a lot of great. Maybe next week we'll go over this. We're going on a while here, so I want to get to some other stuff here. But he does a lot of great drone videos, and I think he does a great job of keeping the public up to date with different developments, especially along the North Coast and in St. James. And this one, he's talking about updates that are happening to with the highway and Bogue Road and the bypass. Oh, yeah. Man, I want to watch this. All right, let's watch a little bit. Let's watch a little bit together. All right, let's go.
Direction towards Crane Boulevard and show you what's happening along this section of the perimeter road.
All right, so does everybody know where this is? Let's not assume. All right, let's bring up the map here. So we're gonna head to Montego Bay. So Negril, we're gonna drive from here all the way around North Coast, and then we're heading north, and then we're heading east. All right, let's get to. All right, so you come into Jamaica, and you would go through customs, immigration at Sanctioned International Airport, and then you're coming out the airport, and you're gonna come up the roundabout, and you're gonna make a right, and then you're gonna start heading into the town. Let's say you take Top Road, and you're heading through. Let's move here. You're heading Top Road. You come down to this is, I guess you could consider this downtown Montego Bay, and then you start heading to. This is like Freeport over here. This is the police station. Yes, this is a Freeport police station. So this is where the drone is right here. This is where it's flying right here. This is this is BNS here. NCB is over here. And then this is going into Bogue Road here. This is the Bogue treatment plant here. No, sorry. This is Bogue Road here. This is the Bogue treatment plant here. So this is Fairview here. So this is Fairview Shopping Center. This has Fontana. This is the movie theater, the multiplex here. What else is there? Is it Courts? Is Courts there? I'm thinking of another shop there. Starbucks is here. DLE Cafe is there. You guys know where I'm talking, right? Okay, you got it. All right, now let's go back to where he was, where he's flying which is, I think where did I say he was? Where's the police station? Okay, he's a police station. So he's right at this intersection right here. So let's hop back.
And as you know, guys, that would have been a complete flyover of the Montego
I'm gonna 1.5x this. We might go to 2x. Let me know if this is okay. I'll slow it down if it's too fast.
Bay Perimeter Road. Yes, guys, you can check out my channel for that video where I did a complete journey along the 15 kilometers of the Montego Bay bypass. All right, so ensure that you check this out after you have subscribed to my channel. All right, so click on the subscription button right now and select all on the notification bell so that you can get all the updates as soon as I post them. So I'm just going along Crane Boulevard right now. As you can see, I'm flying past the Fairview Shopping Center towards the left, and you have the Freeport call centers towards the right. Yeah, they have gotten significant damage as it relates to the passage of the Hurricane Melissa back in October 2025. Yeah, I would have covered that as well. So yes, guys, check out my channel. So I'm just going along right now. As you can see aggregates all over the path of the perimeter road. Yeah, they're working on different areas at the same time so as to complete this in a timely manner. All right, so I'm going to continue my flight along the Montego Bay perimeter road. I am going to go through the Bogue treatment plant so you can see what's happening at that end and finally get to the Bogue Road interchange. All right, I have an update for you on that. So stay tuned for that part, guys. Don't go anywhere. Ensure that you watch this video in its entirety as you don't want to miss any second of this video. Stay tuned, my people. It appears to be like a swampy region at this end here at the Bogue or near the Bogue treatment plant. So they have a lot of elevation that's needed at this section. All right, you can see that they have started the process with adding aggregates here to backfill this section. Yeah, let me know what you think can be done to speed up the process. All right, but they seem to be moving at a fairly good pace right now. Yeah, guys, share your thoughts in the comment section below.
So I just want to point out like how awesome this is. So let's go back to the map right now. If I can. Okay. All right, great. So now normally I'm kind of just getting the picture here. And thanks to this guy's video, I really appreciate it. So you see this here now, right? So remember I just said when you come out the airport, you're going to make the right here. But when this is done, you're going to make a left and you see the highway that is formulating here going into the mountains. You're seeing it, you're seeing it, you're seeing it, you're seeing it. And you're skipping all of this. You're skipping all the downtown. And we talked about bottom road, top road. You're skipping all of downtown. And look, I just got what's happening here. And I'm assuming that there is going to be some sort of meetup here. Like when I say meetup, you can meet up here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Or clearly there is a bypass here. And what I mean by bypass is I don't know if this is going to be turned into a highway or this is going to be a residential street. But nonetheless, you are skipping a whole ton of traffic. And this is Bogue Road. This is, and I couldn't understand what these guys were doing. I just want to go back to, let's go back to his video. And so let's just go back to the beginning real quick. So if you've driven in Montego Bay, you've seen this structure. I was just like, what is this thing? What direction is this thing going in? Where is it going? Oh, so that's it, right? Oh, shoot. Okay, so this is clearly the overpass that they have here. And it's a bridge that I'm seeing right now. Like I can see now how it's going to turn into a bridge. So hold on, let's go back to where we were in the video and let's keep watching. So hold on, make one last point on this map. So now everybody also knows that there is an incredible backlog. Like from here, if you go here anytime during rush hour, I mean, it could take you an hour, easily an hour and a half, easily to get from here to, where are we now? To basically Bogue Road to make this right. It could take you hour and a half very easily. You land at the wrong time. You land at 3 o'clock. You get your luggage at 4. You hit 5 o'clock coming out the airport. Forget about it. You could be there for a long time. And the reason is that there is, I mean, I guess you could go through Barnett Street, but that's even worse. That's terrible. There's essentially one way that you can go, and then all this traffic is going this way. Granted, it's 2 lanes on each side of the road, but it just jams everything up. And there's no bypass road. And so the drone footage that we're seeing right now, you're going to go past the call centers here on the left of your screen. You're going to go past Fairview Shopping Plaza and all those places. And you're going to come down here and you're seeing they're building this connecting road, which is amazing. Awesome. I don't know if you'll be able to like get on this road and then meet up with Bogue here, but I don't care. This is great. This is amazing. Or come over and then come back this way and then head to Negril. This could save an hour or 2 hours on your trip to Negril. Easily. I think this is absolutely amazing. Let's keep watching real quick if we can.
At this end here at the Bogue, or near the Bogue tree.
Yeah, this is the Bogue treatment plant. You probably recognize this. You're usually driving on the other side of this.
An update from the contractor, which is Czech or China Harbor Engineering Company. And this was back on January 2nd, 2026. And it reads, the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project successfully completed the installation of all bridge girders with the precise placement of the final 30-meter T-girder at the Bogue Road interchange, marking another major milestone in the project delivery. Since the launch of concentrated girder erection works, the project team has strictly implemented Czech's 12 security measures, organizing multiple technical workshops to optimize construction, sequencing, and traffic diversion plans. Through innovation-bearing installation techniques and effective coordination, the team successfully overcame challenges such as limited working space and heavy urban traffic. All girder transportation and erection works at the Barney Street Bridge and the Bogue Road Interchange Bridge were completed safely and efficiently while maintaining normal traffic flow on existing roads. With this achievement, a total of 77 girders across 3 bridges have now been safely erected. The entire process was carried out under controlled conditions with well-organized execution and 0 safety incidents. This milestone represents the first major critical achievement following the impact of a severe hurricane, drawing widespread attention from local media. It highlights the project team's strong organizational capability, resilience, and ability to deliver under pressure, setting a solid foundation for the project's final construction phase in 2026 and supporting the high-quality delivery of Jamaica's broader road infrastructure program in the years ahead.
Let's read that. I just want to listen to that again.
In the high-quality delivery of Jamaica's broader road infrastructure program in the years ahead.
Hold on.
Working space and heavy urban traffic. All girder transportation and erection works at the Barney Street Bridge and the Bogue Road Interchange Bridge were completed safely and efficiently while maintaining normal traffic flow on existing roads. With this achievement, a total of 77 girders across 3 bridges have now been safely erected. The entire process was carried out under controlled conditions with well-organized execution and 0 safety incidents. This milestone represents the first major critical achievement following the impact of a severe hurricane, drawing widespread attention from local media. It highlights the project team's strong organizational capability, resilience, and ability to deliver under pressure, setting a solid foundation for the project's final construction phase in 2026 and supporting the high-quality delivery of Jamaica.
I heard final construction phase. So does that mean this will be done this year? Final construction phase 2026. We'll see. All right, let's keep rolling here. I think we got the gist of what's happening here. Like I said, I would encourage you to watch the video. It's in the comment section there. Give him a like, give him a subscribe. He does great work, great coverage, especially this part of the country. And I think his channel is a great asset to Jamaica, keeping us informed. I watch a lot of his videos. So great stuff, awesome stuff. All right, let me pause that there and let's keep rolling on this agenda. All right, Negril updates. Built for Jamaica. I don't know where I was going with that. All right. Okay. So, yeah, I said we had some real estate deals that I wanted to talk about. Oh, I didn't want to put that up yet. Take that down. Some real estate deals that I wanted to talk about today. And so, oh man, I don't have. Let me see if I can get the PDF up. 1 second here. So I have a deal here that I'm bringing to you guys, and this one is actually coming from. 1 second, I just got to grab this PDF real quick. This one's coming from Mora, and this is a condo deal here in Negril. Oh man, computer's going crazy. And let's bring it up. There we go. Okay. So this is a beachfront opportunity, and this just went live, I think, today or yesterday. And so, are you all familiar with Vicky Teeny? It's a probably not. Sorry, I don't even know why I asked. So Vicky Teeny is a hotel here on the beach in Negril. It was the former. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I forget the name of the hotel. I used to go there all the time. Anybody in the audience can help me. And what was the name of Vicky Teeny before? Oh my gosh, I forgot the name of it. Anyway, it's called Vicky Teeny now, and it has been sold. It has been acquired, from what I understand, by some Canadian investors, and now they are offering condos, and they're converting the hotel rooms into condominiums. So let's go through the PDF real quick. Limited availability, available now. Salt and Sand Daya. Condos Negril, Jamaica. Boutique beachfront condominiums in Negril's iconic 7 Mile Beach, authentic Jamaican luxury experience. Strata approved titles, beachfront condos in the heart of the 7 Mile Beach. Pool, hot tub, wellness area, on-site restaurant and bar, private boutique condos, high cash flow investment opportunity, managed short-term rental program. Next steps: deposit of 100,000 US required by February 16th, with final payment due by April 2nd, 2026. This is where it's located on the Negril Beach. So you got Point Village here on the left. You got it's between Skylark and Negril Treehouse, Margaritaville. Great part of the beach, honestly. Really, really in the heart of it, I would say, in a big way. And these are some of the renditions you can take a look at on your screen. They have loft suites, 1 bedroom with loft, 1 bath unit, 620 square feet, 100 square foot patio, walk-in closet starting at 589,000 US dollars. These are the rendition pictures here. Also, this is the layout of the room here. I'm actually I know what it looks like now and before the rooms. They're spacious for what they are, I would say, and I'm sure with these renovations, they're going to look absolutely beautiful. Submitted. We went through the terms already. You can, I'm going to put this in let's put this in the chat. So, like I said, Maura is the agent on this. I'm going to put her contact information, and she allowed me to share some, what would I say? Some of this Excel spreadsheet I'm going to share with you in a second, but I just want to get her contact information. So hopefully you can Let me see if I could fix that. You know what? I'm just going to put that up there as is. I don't know if you can copy and paste that. It's written weird. I'm going to put it in the comments section there. There you go. And you guys can reach out to Maura if you want. Her email address is there, and also her phone number. They are doing, let's see if I could bring that up as well. We're gonna go through the spreadsheet in a second here. They are also doing an open house tomorrow, January 19th, on Monday, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And they're going to be serving some rum punch and red stripe. I will be there. I'm going to pop in. So if you want to come say what up, come through. So 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow. There's 9 condos available. Check it out. I always say, like, if you're in town, it's like I always say, if you're in Jamaica, you're considering moving here, especially if you're in Negril, if you can, go see some property. Go see some property, even if this is completely outside of your hemisphere. This is not something that you're even interested in, but it's good to see what this gets you, $589,000, and what it is, and touch it and see the atmosphere. And you put yourself in a better position to compare apples to apples when you do find something that you might be interested in. So yeah, come through tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. At Vicky Teeny's, it's called now, and come check it out. Let's go through some of the spreadsheet. Spreadsheet here. And we can analyze it together. One sec. All right, here's a spreadsheet that she sent me, and she said it was okay for me to send it. So let's analyze this together. So let's start with the cheaper prices here. So at the bottom, unit 22, second floor unit, strata. Also, all of these units have titles available. And this one is going for 605 square feet, $589,000. And let's see what it looks like. And so 589, this is what it looks like before the refurbishment. That's one. That's the other one. Let's see what else. Let's go up to, let's see what the 699 one looks like. $100,000 more, pretty much. This is the suite, 699. This is what it looks like before the refurb. Ocean view. Pretty cool. So if you want more information on this, reach out to Maura. Her information is there in the chat. Feel free to shoot her a WhatsApp or shoot her an email. Like I said, if you want to come through for the open house tomorrow, come through. I'm going to pop by. Would love to say what up to anybody who wants to come through. Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Paula says, and that's a deal, too expensive. It's a deal. I didn't say it was a deal. I said it was a deal. And so, yeah, maybe too expensive. Maybe too expensive for some. And maybe it's a deal for others. Who knows? Who knows? Nice apples. Brian says, yes, nice apples indeed. Nice location. Wish I was there to check those out. Justin says Drone View Jamaica does a very good job too. Yes, I follow Drone View Jamaica. They're great as well. Did I just read 1 bedroom, 500,000 US? Yep. Yeah, let's see how it goes. I'll be out there. I'm going to go check it out. But I also want to say, like, this is a this is kind of what I was alluding to before, talking about the confidence that investors have in Negril in the private sector. And this is now, I want to say, this is the second acquisition that hotel acquisition that I brought to you guys in less than a year in Negril. And there's a third one that I'm going to bring to you in the next 2 weeks as well. And this one is a condo conversion. The next one is also going to be a condo conversion. And it's going to be, the next one is going to be great. I'm not trying to pin this one against the other one. This one is going to be a phenomenal deal. Let's just say that. But nonetheless, I think that these are worth checking out. I think it's definitely worth checking out just real estate in general. Just real estate in general. Check them out. If it's not you, we talk about all different types of real estate, all different types of prices across the board. But nonetheless, I think you should know what you're getting for where you're getting what money, how far your money is going, let's say, in Montego Bay versus Negril versus Treasure Beach, right? And then also within Negril, you look at the makeup of places in Negril. You look at, Point Village is always a staple. They probably have the most activity, M&A activity, maybe I'll say, in terms of condos being sold there. They are, man, how much is Point Village? Is like 550 square feet going for 300,000 around, I want to say. And so, yeah, this is a little up there. This is a little up there, but yes, this is up there. Everyone says I'm not the target audience for sure. Cool. All right. Yeah, this may not be for you. Hopefully that we'll see. There's more coming. I will say that. There's more coming. I will say that. I'd be interested in the anticipated yield. Good question. I'm not sure. I reach out to Maura. She's very open and she wants to hear from you guys. I'm going to put her contact for those who are watching on the replay. Maura's contact information will be in the description. I'll put it that way. Overpriced for the square footage, even for beachfront. So let's do that math real quick. Oh man, I forgot. Yeah, I got to go to dinner. We're still here chatting. Let me just bring up the spreadsheet here. So 699,000. 703. Oops. Yeah, you're looking at about $994 per square foot. That's on the 699 one, 589 divided by 703. Shoot, sorry, I'm messing up here. $837 per square foot on unit 22 here. So yeah, it's up there. There's no doubt about that. It's up there. Mystical says it's on the 7 Mile beach and the view / beachfront and sunset are indeed priceless. Mark says great location, but still seems expensive, especially considering the location would be at risk of direct potential hurricane hit. With any ideal, I would wonder what mitigation strategies are implemented. Carlson says, "Drop. How did you like Seoul?" We're gonna talk about it in a second. Sorry, I don't want to ignore your comment. Let me put that on. Maybe that'll be the last question that I answer. I start it. Yeah, it's up there. There's no, 1,000 square foot. That's there's no getting around that. But people will pay. Let me see. I should know these numbers off the top of my head, right? Just want to do Point Village real quick. So Point Village, let's say 300,000. Let's call it 550. Yeah, you're looking at almost a little more than half the price on that. So yeah, it's up there, but you're literally on the beach. You're literally on the beach. And it may not be for some. See what people, we'll see how the market reacts to it. We'll see what the demand is like. We'll see if there are people who value it at that price level. There's a lot of people who want to get on the Negril beach and want to be a part of this community. And you're looking at a title in hand refurbished apartment. And let's see how it goes. I'll keep you guys informed on how it goes. All right, let's get back to our agenda here. We're definitely in the wrapping up phase. Yeah, I was going to talk about the Negril roundabout. I don't want to end negative. All I'll say about the Negril roundabout, it's an extremely frustrating situation. The place is it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. I don't even want to talk about it, but super, super embarrassing, the Negril roundabout. It's just been an ongoing 6-month project that has been just been embarrassing. It's just been like embarrassing. That's all I'll say at this point. Hopefully next week I'll have some more positive news. Apparently they're supposed to start on it. They said they were supposed to start on it today. Maybe they did. I didn't drive down there today. Actually, I did. I didn't see anything going on this morning. But we'll see if there's any progress that's made this week. Excuse me. I'll let you know. I'll let you guys know. What else we got here? Yeah, there's a returnee story that I was going to bring up. We'll save for some other time. Let's see. You know what? Let me answer that question. Let's answer Callison. Let me see. Dennis says, hopefully they open a lighthouse to visitors. That will be amazing. Callison says, Throp, how did you enjoy Seoul? Big fan of the underground shopping, something Jamaica could have considered for Kingston, considering the limited space in the city. Definitely too late. Negril. I absolutely love Seoul. I love Seoul, love the underground shopping, especially since it was so freaking cold. It was freezing. And so just to be underground, that's what I don't have them on me. The glasses, my newest glasses that I have, that's where I got them. I got them in Korea, got my glasses test there. Really relatively affordable, a lot cheaper than I would have paid here in Jamaica. Definitely more affordable than I would have paid in the United States to get tested and then to get brand new prescription glasses that I think are really awesome. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's pretty cool. Pretty cool place, and I would love to go back. I definitely have to go. I was only there for I think 3 days. It was I just extended my layover pretty much. Shauna says, for Negril to be a hotspot destination, why are they dragging their feet to beautify the area? This is the history of Negril. Like, I mean, and this is why I wanted to have this talk show, because it's the roundabout that's nothing. I mean, look at the beach park. We're talking about is 8 years now. 7 years before the pandemic, the beach park has been closed for refurbishment. And it's just nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. So the roundabout, drop of water in the bucket, but it comes down to it comes down to the history of Negril. I think it comes down to the political will, the political direction, and I like I said before, I was alluding to before, I understand a lot more now than ever why Negril is the way it is and why Negril is treated the way it has been treated. And it's our own fault. It's our own fault. Trust me. So we'll get this show up and running at some point, this second live stream show. And I would love to have some of these Negril OGs come on. And it's a unique history. It really, really is. But a lot of it is steeped in politics, and it very much is. A lot of it is steeped in politics. Then it says, any reason why the Negril Lighthouse has been closed? It's been privatized. It's been bought. That's why, unfortunately. So it's no longer from. This is what I understand. This is what I understand. Michael Brown, the people says private sector must take the lead. Government cannot do everything. How about people start doing the simple things? Pick up after yourself. With the roundabout or the beach park, that is the people can't do anything about that. The people can't do anything about that. It was like both the projects would have been better if they did nothing. Let's put it that way. Both projects, they should have just left it. They started it, they've ruined it. In order to make it better, don't get me wrong, the roundabout is mid-construction at this point, but because of internal fighting, it's silliness, and then nobody cares to hear excuses for it. Nobody cares. I don't care what, like, nobody cares. But because of whatever, the roundabout remains in disrepair. There's nothing that we can do to pick up after. There's poles sticking out the ground that they dug into the asphalt, that they put up this nasty black curtain around to hide the construction. The black curtain thankfully has been removed, but the poles are still there. So it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. So it's and then the same thing with the beach park. It's just there. It's just there. Shut down. Could be using it. It was being used before, but I don't know. The politicization. I mean, I can't even say the word. With the politics aspect of this, it's like a lot of it is Negril's fault. I'm telling you, a lot of it is Negril's fault. I mean, it's so bad. I mean, like, and I'd really love to have the OGs, I keep saying this, come on and start talking about it, and for us to understand, because you need to lift up this rug, and you need to have these conversations, these open conversations. And nobody, that's the thing with this, that I realize that I will take a step back, and just like, I realize that nobody's going to take accountability. Nobody wants to take accountability. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy that there is no accountability with this, and nobody is gonna be like, man, I messed up here. It's just not gonna happen. Just not gonna happen. But that's the only thing that I think that I can do with this platform, is to have discussions of that nature with these folks, and to learn, and to learn from them. And it's just like, hopefully we can learn so we can get better. Who started the project? The government started the project. I don't know who specifically, but the government hired a contractor, and all this run around. And like I said, I didn't want to end on a negative note, but we're going to end there anyway. It's great to be back. It's so awesome to be back. So happy to be doing this stream again. Look, we almost went 3.5 hours, and I said I was going to do 2 hours, and I always set myself up for these things, and that's okay. I'm happy to be back here, happy to be doing this again, and I'll be coming back on next Sunday again for sure. I'm going to be consistent from here on out. We got some really phenomenal deals that are coming to the table. If you are in the Throppers think tank, you already know about it. You already know what I'm talking about. And these are the one deal that I'm thinking of in particular is going to be a great deal. And I don't often use this term lightly, but it's one of those deals that it's only going to come across once in a blue moon, and I really appreciate what the developers are doing here. I appreciate their vision, and I'm very excited to be bringing it to you all. I don't know if it's next week, but maybe in a couple of weeks, definitely by early February, you will all know exactly what I'm talking about. And so stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. That's the only way you're going to hear about it. Hit that notification bell, because it's going to be here on the platform that I'm going to announce it. Maybe I'll make a video about it and put a video about it, but maybe that'll be too late. Who knows? But good to be back. Thank you, everyone. Glad to have been doing this again. Glad to start out 2026 on a positive note, and I remain extremely bullish on Jamaica, and I remain excited about Jamaica and the direction that Jamaica is heading in. And we're going to try and get the second show. You know, I want to make it a weekday show. And so I'm excited, very, very excited to be kind of starting planning this together. And me and the team are working on it. I'm putting this together and trying to get the co-host. That's like the most important thing, trying to get some good co-hosts to come on and to be speaking about these issues. And it's not just going to be Negril. They have a lot of perspective and wisdom to lend to the greater Jamaica and the direction that it's heading in. All right, everybody. Wishing you a great week ahead. Great seeing everybody. Great hearing from everybody. Like I said, so amazing to be back. And I will see you same time, same place next week. We're actually gonna do 12 o'clock next week. We're definitely gonna do 12 o'clock next week. I'm gonna try and make it for an earlier one. All right, everybody. Have a great week, and I will see you on Sunday. Peace out.